Good evening, everybody, and welcome to our final match of Cross Keys Week. It's the Link to the Past Randomizer League. We're finishing up Week 5 with a match between eudaimonistic and darkrid12 of Yoshi's on Skis versus Super Salty Dungeoneers. I'm JP, and I am joined by Chirality. How you doing?
Doing pretty good, pretty good. Excited to see my teammate hopefully clinching a 5th win for our team in the league. As a fellow representative of Yoshi's on Skis, it's going to be a pretty interesting matchup. I know that eudaimonistic has been practicing all week for this, and I know that Super Salty Dungeoners are probably looking forward to grab their 2nd win, but it's Cross Keys, and Cross Keys anything can happen. Even the most experienced players, they drop matches, as we've seen all throughout the entire week. A lot of upsets have happened. A lot of seeds have been hundoed. Anything can happen.
Yeah, exactly. Give you an idea of what's up in the line for this division. Well, we already have the first place team in this division claimed. Farami will give an interview if we win, has claimed first in this division, but 2nd and 3rd are still way up in the air. Yoshi's on Skis, with a win, will move into a tie for 4th. And Super Salty Dungeoneers, I think they still have an outside chance, but they would be eliminated from contention with a loss here.
Yeah, so this is a critical match for that team. And here we go at the start. We have one player starting the Sanctuary, while the other player actually starts Link's House. Link's House nets us bombs, which is awesome, but also the Sanctuary nets us a bow from the get-go, which is also awesome.
That's not a great place for Sanctuary, but it is a good place to do a Pakulahan.
Easy money, which is usually pretty difficult to get your hands on when you're playing Key Sandy in the first place, so when you add entrance on top, it's also even harder to get that money. Did we see a small key up on that lumberjack? Yeah.
Small key, which Yuda will probably go get.
Yeah, it's an annoying detour to go make, certainly. When you check the entrance there, you're really hoping that you're not going to have to actually make that detour, but here we don't really have a choice. It appears that he's going to check the entrance first.
And unfortunately, that is one of our hen houses, which are disabled.
Darkrid from the... Oh, he's not grabbing the small key. Interesting.
Hopefully he doesn't forget about that.
Yeah, that could be a big mistake. Meanwhile, Darkrid getting the bombs, putting the bombs right away to use, and checking a lot of caves south of Link's house already. Which is an interesting play. You can see a lot of people rush Kakariko because it's a very dense area for checks early on and finding a lot of things. Unfortunately, because our Sanctuary starting spot is very inconvenient to go there.
Found a mini Moldworm cave, but he has no weapons to take them out.
Yeah, but we know for a fact it's going to be one of the first locations going to revisit as soon as he gets the proper weapon. The 5 checks there are difficult to say no to. Eudaimonistic doing the back of escape, but not finding much value there, unfortunately, besides a few more bombs.
Yeah. Unfortunately, early on in the seed, you're going to have to take the long walk to Kakariko. No way to avoid that.
Absolutely. While Darkrid actually buying arrows in that shop.
Oh, he does have a bow. That's
yes.
Actually it's a really good idea. That is very heads up of him. I believe it's the only shop in the game that carries arrows as well.
I can't remember the last time I've seen someone just unironically buying arrows without it being an arrow upgrade at the Halia Ferry. That's hilarious.
Yeah, that is actually, like I said, I believe that is the only shop that arrows, so that is a really good coincidence as well.
That shows a lot of adaptation from the player. We got a map on Tower here, more arrows. Oh, a big key to Dark Palace. That's a convenient one to find.
Bombs.
And a small key to Castle Tower. That's also a very nice find. You only need one of the small keys in order to be able to get both items in Aga Tower when you find it.
Well, we're not going to need to do Aga 1 today. That is a very good find for you at the lumberjack. No Aga climb too hard to get here as we find the big key to Hera.
Depending if you find the hookshot or not, it's not necessarily the nicest big key to find, but any big key is useful. And we find the flippers, that's a lot more useful early on.
Yep, that'll open up some new checks.
I believe we have our tier 2 triple, which is 80 rupees. That's also going to be very helpful if we do need more money quickly this seed.
Okay, you and I are forgetting that back of Lost Woods entrance. That's an easy one to forget. I've walked by that so many times.
Yeah, unfortunately, let's hope that he doesn't forget it for the rest of the seed, or that if he just hard forgets it, that it ends up being unimportant. That would make me happy personally, but I'm a little biased on that. We already found Ganon in the forest.
It seems to be where he's been hiding a lot lately. It's a good drop down because we're trying to eliminate those. We want that fairy drop down to be at on the pyramid now. And yeah, unfortunately, you'd leaving that one behind. Well, hopefully that entrance is nothing.
We'll have to wait and see when darkrid actually checks it. Well, we have the chess game, but we don't have rupees. So that's another location that will have to be revisited later.
Did darkrid not pick up that small key at the uncle hole yet either?
I believe they both skipped it. That's pretty crazy.
Well, we found our first Turtle Rock entrance, and there's our eastern, which we have a bow, but we do not have a big key for.
Yeah, it's still worth the early dip for the first 4 chests that we can get, even though getting the big key chest is actually a sequence break. Early on, like the first 3 chests, you know they're going to be in logic, whatever, and you're just really scrounging for items wherever they may be. Anything that could help you make future checks easier.
Got a blue boomerang. You take that early. Nice item to stun the enemies with.
Also, we can check the stun prize and see what it gives us this game.
You guys out of arrows, but he does have plenty of opportunities in this dungeon to pick up more.
Indeed. Do we see that entrance check by darkrid? Oh, it's a fairy. Whew.
Yep, not missing anything there.
Eudaimonistic's routing is actually optimal by skipping the useless entrance.
Yeah, assuming he doesn't go back. Assuming he doesn't go back there later. Oh yeah, that boomerang does not stun those skeletons.
Yeah, I get surprised by that very regularly. I always forget about it. I'll try to throw my whatever boomerang those skeletons, and nope, they refuse to be stunned by them.
Yeah, I've forgotten that too. So that's it. Go ahead.
That's it for all the checks that we have in logic right now for Eastern Palace, but there's the extra check that we can go get at the Biggie chest. It's not in logic because we're in the lamp, but could be an item that's very important for progression. You know what? We found a very important item for progression in the chess game, being the net.
That's actually not bad this early, especially if you find a bottle. You can do. You could be forced in this mode to do a lot of lower percentage fights and lower percentage just overall. So having a net in a bottle is actually pretty nice this early.
Yeah, it allows you to do sometimes do certain tricks like fairy revivals in order to access some entrances, or just to trigger a fake flipper. It's not going to be used for that use in this seed since we already have the flippers.
Ooh.
Oh, Yudai needs to be careful here.
He's grabbing the 2 hearts. Okay, he's got it.
Nice. And now he can just kill himself and be back in Kakariko to resume exploration, as Darkrid is going to do the same checks, just following the footsteps of eudaimonistic.
Okay, so what do we got as we continue in Kakariko? Oh, there's GT.
That was quick.
That's 3 dungeons right next to each other in Kakariko.
So finding the flute could be very convenient for them. Quick access to these dungeons, especially GT, is one that you typically, as soon as you can do more stuff in GT, you kind of want to go there. Oh, shield. Gross.
Unfortunately, that's all he can do in GT for now.
He can check what's on the torch.
Yeah, he can look at the torch, but can't get it.
And that's not what we want. Oh, he's going to have a brutal surprise here.
Nope. He's just grabbing the key now. I think he's trying to set up a death warp. It's about equal in time between death warp and walking out, I think.
Yeah, it's pretty slow.
But he did get 300 rupees out of that, which is really good. He needs rupees still.
Yeah. And we have the useless fair in Kakariko. That's not what you want to find.
Yeah, I think that guarantees an item drop is at the pyramid.
I believe so as well. And another dungeon.
Hyrule Castle! And this is a nice dungeon because this is a connector as well.
It's not Kakariko, it's Dungeon Village.
It is. Yuda's gonna start checking the basements. Only one of these items is technically unlogic without the Hyrule Castle small key, but you're still gonna check them anyway. Especially since we've already found the back of escape. You're not worried about that Hyrule Castle small key at this point.
Yeah, exactly. It's in the cases where the back of escape ends up being at a very annoying location, like the pyramid or even lumberjack, that potentially just staking that small key up there and stealing it to go access the back 3 items can be important. An interesting strategy is to exactly save scum that small key, see if it's important, and if it's not, you just resume your checks, come back there, and then you don't have to worry about that key anymore, or even completing whatever Aga 1 or Aga 2 in order to access the checks.
Well, we got our first few pieces of dungeon information. Hera is a green pendant, Desert Palace is a red crystal. Not the pieces of dungeon information you were hoping to see, because those are free information you can get when you find Saharsala in the bomb shop.
Yeah, unfortunately. Also, Tower Hera is typically a very easy dungeon to complete. It's usually not trouble. You find the hookshot, you can finish it, thanks to Herapot. We already have the Hera big key, so it would have been very nice for the players for it to be a crystal, but can't have it every single scene, unfortunately. While both players set up their death warps in order to leave their respective dungeons.
And Yuda's gonna check the other ends of the connector. See where it takes him.
This is basically the first connector we get to see in this entire seed. And where else where in Kakariko?
Okay, that doesn't help.
Nope. May as well check the other one. See if it's useful. Or not.
And I think he's going to continue exploring here first and then come back later to check the other side of the connector.
It makes sense. It's not a high priority to go elsewhere on the map. Just to finding other things. We found a ferry that sells us bomb and arrow upgrades. So if we ever want some upgrades during the seed, it's pretty easy access. And of course we need a 5th dungeon. Let's go. We unfortunately don't have a weapon to kill Moldorm, so it's going to be pretty quick checks, I believe. Going upstairs might be too slow.
Yeah, we'll see. It's Crossroad Key Sanity. You just know it could put a required item that you have to climb without a weapon to get. Oh, okay. Well, that's not enough with Moldorm, but that is still very nice for early in this game.
Well, now we can one-shot these beetles with the bow. Or not.
I hope he. I don't know if he doesn't know that they can. Or he's just gonna dip out. He's not gonna do it for now.
Yeah, well, it's not very often that you actually have to go upstairs there and use your silvers on these beetles. Usually you always have like at least fire sword or hammer, like anything to just knock these beetles down the holes and you're happy. We do find this big key to Desert Palace, which is quite nice to find.
There's a pyramid fairy. Just rupees.
70 bucks. It's relevant right now, so it basically pays off almost all of what we spent getting the Ball Vendor item, which was only 3 bombs. And another connector right here.
Yeah. Oh, there, he's going downstairs. He's gonna grab a fairy.
Yeah. Bit slow, but not the worst play. If you're feeling not confident, you just do whatever it takes to actually not lose your nerves.
Yeah.
But that is another connector that is not explored that we have to revisit later.
There's the restock spot, but he's already at 10 bombs.
Mm-hmm.
And Darkrid's gonna find another entrance to Hyrule Castle.
We have Magic Bat in its vanilla location.
So I think that puts the Lost Woods drop at the pyramid.
Which is not what you want. Another restock cave, plus 1 item. Moon Pearl.
Oh, nice. Yeah, cross keys, you can a lot of the time end up with a really late Moon Pearl, but not in this one. It's a pretty nice time to find it.
And sometimes the seeds can force you to do a lot of shenanigans in the Dark World before even obtaining it. Lots of navigating as a bunny. It's even possible to find a Moon Pearl on the ground in certain caves as a bunny, or even some caves that have NPCs that can give it to you. Or if a seed just gives you a mirror, then you might be required to mirror at a lot of unusual spots if you don't play entrance to actually access locations that will ultimately lead you to Moon Pearl.
Yeah, I think the race icon yesterday forced you to do a swamp dive without the hammer to get the Moon Pearl.
That's never what you want to see.
Yeah, so
Though at least in
Darkrid.
this mode, depending on where swamp is, it's not as punishing. The main reason you don't want to really go do Swamp Palace normally is because it takes forever to just set up the dungeon to be able to enter it. Also, we found a shovel on the racing game, so until we find the connector there or obtain the mirror and navigation in the Dark World, it's going to take a while before we grab it.
Yep. So that's it for Kakariko. I think we find 5 dungeons in Kakariko.
We found Turok, Eastern Palace, GT, Howl Castle, 2 entrances of it by the way, and Tower Hair. So that is 5 indeed.
Yeah, so at this point, once these runners have that Moon Pearl, they should check those connectors a little bit more fully. See what they can find Dark World, but they still also do have a good number of Light World entrances to check as well.
Well, we'll see if Darkwood goes for it. He's thinking.
Yeah, he does
thinking.
I think he might just be note-taking. He's gonna go. Okay.
Let's go.
He doesn't have a Moon Pearl yet, though. So if he ends up in Dark World, he'll be Bunny.
And it's not the greatest connector in the world, seeing as our sanctuary starting point is the drop right next to this location.
Yeah, and they do have the flippers. So yeah, that's pretty much a useless connector.
Mm-hmm. I guess it's pretty worthless. It's trying to justify it, but no. It's going to open up Darkrid to do some more interesting navigation. Instead of doing 7 quid, just takes the whirlpool in order to go towards Minimum Cave. and probably going to proceed towards the entrances next to Ice Rat Cave. Unfortunately, he doesn't have the glove, so he's only going to be able to check 2 of the 3 entrances.
We found Hookshot Cave, which has 4 items we can't get to, but it's also a connector.
Yeah, we found the Smith in Minimum Cave.
And the Smiths, one of them gets taken to the Dark Worlds, and the other one gets blocked into his house. And that's the danger of connectors right there. But this is still good for he can check a couple locations here.
Well, what's the exact entrance of this connector again?
I believe like Hylia Island.
Yeah.
So there's Quake to get into the Turtle Rock entrance. And drop down right here, check 2 more.
That's going to be all we can do in this area for now. And when you find a jackpot, that is a very nice entrance to find. 2
jackpots, actually. Darkrid found Thieves Town.
Ooh. And we have Sick Kid over there. There's a lot of juice over here.
Yeah. Mini Moldorm Cave, 7 items. Thieves Town, 4 items in the front you can get.
So any of our 2 runners could actually get a pretty good early game advantage depending on the items we find in these 2 locations. Smoky to Thieves now. Unfortunately, we don't have the big one, but that might be relevant for later. Maybe if eudaimonistic find the big key before headed to Thieves Town and also weapon to fight blind, he might only do a single dip in the dungeon. Especially if the hammer ends up being that one weapon, and we find a glove in Paradox Cave.
First glove is always good because that opens up some extra entrances.
It cleans up your routing a little bit. There's a lot of location like where Darkrid is, near the Ice Rat Cave area. He's forced to leave this entrance behind, while eudaimonistic on his first visit is just going to be able to check that entrance. And if it ends up being a relevant early game, then might gain an advantage from it.
Yuda's got 2 extra exits to check here. He's going to check this one, which is going to block him out. He won't be able to go back.
Ooh.
Well, he won't be able to go back twice.
But it's still not our first access to this area, so...
Yeah, it's not all bad.
Meanwhile, Darkrid also committing to check the drop, which is the one connection from this connector that is actually in logic. You can perform bomb jump to go to the south entrance, but unfortunately, some people have done that bomb jump and then forgot about the 3rd entrance, and then after that they had a few logic issues trying to figure out what they missed later on. We found the Turtle Rock connector, which is really nice to know about once you have the mirror.
So we're going to see Yuda check over in the pod area. I believe there's 3 entrances here.
There's one that's the equivalent of Dark Hole /Shredder, one that's Path of Darkness, as we know, and the 3rd one is that fairy cave that's near the Fruit Spot 5. An ice rod in its vanilla location. Seems legit.
Okay.
We'll take that.
Yeah.
This is great when you play seeds where you don't have to hunt that stupid thing.
Yep. I'd actually go check the other... Wait, Darkrid found Lamp. Did he find that in Thieves Town?
I believe so.
Okay. But I was gonna say I'd have gone and checked Dark World Spot 5 first before coming up to Pod. It's a little bit shorter walk.
Yeah, and depending on what you find, you might find another connector that you want to explore rather than having to do this backtrack, or might think, oh, it's even quicker for me to just perform a save and quit and not have to come back there. And we find a pretty worthless checkerboard, unfortunately.
Paid 110 rupees to get 20.
Not even worth to pick up the 20.
Yeah.
While darkrid getting himself a pretty free piece of heart.
Now, I do have to say with darkrid, passing up the blacksmith house in CAC, he's not got his Moon Pro yet.
Yeah, it's a pretty questionable skip, really, since it's easy to forget because it's not necessarily part of CAC proper, and it's not a location that you really go to when you don't play entrance, besides when you get like early hammer, early powder, so you want to check magic bat. So it's really easy to put at the back of your mind and just forget about it. But the seed is going to be critical. And we found another dungeon, the Form of Misery Mire.
Yeah. No access to it yet, need either hookshot or boots.
Unfortunately, there's not that much more that eudaimonistic is going to be able to do here. It's going to be able to check the shop that's in the dark powder, the dark potion shop, and get over the catfish, but he's going to have to be pretty careful for that.
Well, he remembers his fairy and refills his health again.
If you need it, you take it. And meanwhile, Zara gives us a big key to Swamp Palace.
Not the best big key there. It only opens up one location, but it is still a peace of mind. Actually,
it potentially limits you from doing a double dip.
Yuda actually going south instead, gonna check the Dark World Ice Rod Cave area. 3 entrances over here he can check out in quick succession. And actually, I think he can take that portal right there to get up to the potion shop.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, some locations are very easy to forget about sometimes. When you're not the player itself, thinking about all the intricacies of routing. And we found Bumper Ledge. Bumper Cave. Sorry, I misspoke. So we're going to either need the key or the hookshot to explore that connector, but it's so out of the way that we're unlikely to see this location from eudaimonistic again in quite some time, unless he gets really desperate with trying to find where progression is.
Yeah, he actually didn't use that portal, he's just did a save and quit.
Yeah, like, the portal is something that if you're not used to the format, you're probably not even going to think about it, put it in your mind at all.
Darkrid found his way up on Death Mountain. Unfortunately for him, because he doesn't have that Moon Pro, when he finds Mini Moldorm Cave, he won't be able to explore it unless that end of the connector that Yuda didn't explore leads back to the Light World. Then he could.
Meanwhile, we're going to get the Eastern Palace area checks, which we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, Waterfall Fairy. Nothing really there, though.
Nope.
We see Darkrid stopping quite a bit. I believe he's just taking a lot of notes, which is very good in Crossworld. You even see the top runners stop occasionally just to refresh their notes a little bit. Note-taking is so big in this. You do not want to forget something, because there have been several races this week that have been decided because somebody forgot something.
Absolutely. One tracking mistake can completely kill your race, unfortunately.
Well, that Mini Moldorm connector did lead back to the Light World, but you can't really do anything with that.
So it's not a connector we ever really want to revisit unless we want to go back to the Dub of Dark DM and Swamp Palace in Agonist Cave.
Yeah, we are almost have all of our dungeon info. I think we still haven't seen Agonist Tower. We haven't seen Pod. We haven't seen the back of Skull Woods, and we haven't seen ice.
We haven't seen any of Desert as well.
Oh yeah, you're right. That's weird, especially in cross keys.
A lot of Desert and 3 of Turok still missing in action. I don't know about you, but that one small key just chilling by the Uncle Drop, it worries me.
Yeah, I mean, it could easily be a useless key like a GT key or a pod key.
Or an Ice
where
Palace.
You can easily get Ice Palace, Mire. There's a lot of small keys you don't need, but it could also be like the Swamp Small, which is absolutely needed.
Unfortunately. So Eudaimonistic going towards the Ice Red Cave area, so he's going to find Thieves Town. Can... or not. Or he's going to go to the dam instead. Interesting choice, seeing as he already did the Darkworld shopping mall. But maybe he's trying to find money to actually route Zora in.
Oh, he's doing mini Moldworm Cave here. I think the biggest thing in here was a big key.
Need to be careful with bombs though. He's dropped himself at 1. Personally, I probably would have used the ice rod there to try to conserve my bombs for early exploration.
Yeah, that's a good point. We get a few more there at least.
Yeah, thankfully.
Oh, this is a good cave. That'll... Oh, Darkrid heads out. He's just probably noting it for now. But that'll take you up to Light World Death Mountain guaranteed, which has a lot of entrances you can check.
Yeah, so that's actually pretty significant information because Darkrid knows which cave it is. Eudaimonistic, he doesn't have his lamp yet. So all he knows that it's a dark cave. As soon as you find the lamp, your first reflex is rarely, oh, let's check all the dark caves I found to try to go to that mountain. It's very rarely your thought process, so it might take a while before Eudaimonistic actually visits that connector.
Yeah, he might get up to Death Mountain another way in the meantime, though, and you'll know at least one dark cave on Western Death Mountain is the Old Man Cave, because it has to be.
Yes, absolutely. The Eudaimonistic is going to hit a dead end here, finding Swamp Palace, and then he's going to do a save and quit. And then he's probably going to go to the Outspot area and claim his lamp.
I think he'll also be able to check that one cave that Darkrid couldn't if he heads over there.
Yes, absolutely. Or no, he's opting to start a sanctuary. Interesting.
Maybe Zora area? He also has flippers. You could just jump into this portal. Well, that portal just takes you south of Link's house. It doesn't really help.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, the well. I think the well was at Sanctuary / Escape. And we've not seen that yet.
Oh,
because they didn't have gloves.
That is a lot of juice items in there. This could be pretty simple progression. If we just find a hammer, we are set for a while.
Darkrid's following the Old Man Cave. This will take him up on Death Mountain for a lot of entrances.
That's going to open him a new save and quit point as well. So the well ends up being a complete bust.
Yeah. By the way, on that save and quit point, we did see it on Yudai's side. We saw where at least the front of that, but we haven't seen the back. There is 2 ways out of that cave, so.
And since we know the lamp is in logic very early on, it's possible it's needed. And speaking of needed things, we find a hammer from the old man. So that connector is absolutely required to get to as soon as possible.
Yeah, that's a nice piece of progression there for Darkrid.
But Darkrid needs to go pick up his Moon Pearl as soon as possible, unfortunately.
There's Aga Tower, which with the lamp and 1 key, you can get both chests in here. We already know, do not need to complete Aga Tower.
They only need to open the first 2 chests, indeed.
Oh, here's Yuda going back to this entrance he skipped earlier.
He remembered, that's a good thing.
Yeah, like hopefully both these runners are running trackers and note-taking and all that. Like I know even top runners here who generally hate trackers, who never will use them. They'll use them for entrance rando because there's just so much you have to remember.
I don't see how you can play the game properly without a tracker in entrance. In my mind, it just sounds impossible.
Yeah, I mean, our tracker, Math Girl, our item checker here, Math Girl, makes a good point. You at least run some notes, even if you're not running an actual tracker, at least something for notes. I'm not sure what Darkrid was doing.
Okay, so
there.
he's at the top of that mountain. It's very scary with the dead rocks. He was at 1 heart, so instead of tempting fate and getting hit by the dead rocks, he decided to commit suicide in the dungeon, so he gains 3 health, and then he can more safely stay on the mountain.
Ah, that makes sense.
Because an overworld death would have been a bit disastrous for him. He had to start back in Link's house, go all the way back south of Eastern Palace, take the connector to be back on the mountain, and happily for him, he finds one of the caves that has the most hearts in it, so he should be good for the rest of the mountain now.
And this is a good find for Yuda. He found Misery Mire, which is something that you might need the flute for, but with finding that, you don't need the flute anymore.
Another connector from Darkrid.
He's taking the connector, see what it brings him. Just up further on the mountain.
The Mire medallion is a bumbos today.
We got a vanilla Mire shed.
Wow.
Big key to ice. That's
We'll
another
take
one
it.
you don't... Yeah, you'll take it. More peace of mind. You don't really need it if you're willing to bomb jump or icebreaker, but you'll still take it.
And turns out that doing that bomb jump in Spectacle Rock would have led us straight on that mountain as well.
Darkrid heading back to the Dark World. There are 2 entrances over here.
I hate checking those Rodman Bell. It feels so slow.
And yeah, you can't get that one.
You see that and you're just thinking, oh yeah, like I need to come back later. So checking it now didn't really accomplish anything, right?
Yeah. I mean, to be fair with cross keys, because of how the entrances work, this can be in logic, forcing you to walk through the Dark World as a bunny.
Oh, he finds another connector, which he cannot check at all as a bunny. So unfortunately, his last 2 checks are a bit pointless. He's going to have to reset both of them.
So we kind of seen where each of our runners needs to go. Yuda needs to go down to the Ice Rod area to find Thieves Town and get his lamp. I'll take him to hopefully the Old Man Cave, which will get him some more access. Darkrid needs to go back to Kakariko into the blacksmith house to get his Moon Pearl.
Quick question, speaking of, does Darkrid not have the glove? Because he definitely was in Paradox Cave earlier.
He should. Our tracker is sometimes a little buggy and it doesn't like to take inputs.
It's just that I'm just noticing that, like, because he entered that cave earlier, I assumed that he picked it up, but what if he died and he didn't?
And meanwhile, Yuda gonna check the ledge, but he doesn't have 500 rupees. Which, that had a small, or that had a big key on there.
It did.
I think that was that the swamp big?
I believe so, yes.
So it's not the worst thing to miss as long as that chest has nothing.
If you find Mirror and ended up doing Catfish later on, then it's a way to go back and route King Zara with it. Unfortunately, other than that, there's not a billion ways to route it. quickly, so
Mm-hmm.
it might take a while for eudaimonistic to actually get that big key, if ever. Thankfully for him, it's not one of the most required big keys in the game. It's just if there's a required item, that big chest and so on.
So you gotta pick up the compass from Hobo here. I think he's got to be heading towards Ice Rod Cave now.
Yeah, I think his options are getting very slim. So, what I said earlier about not checking the dark caves as soon as you necessarily get a lamp, I think he's going to want to at this point, because he explored everything.
You know what? Actually, sorry, our tracker points out something. I don't think he did get it because it was Mini Moldworm Cave. He couldn't get into Mini Moldworm Cave.
Could he
Or
not?
he could get into it, but he couldn't open the chest because he was in bunny form.
Oh, it was a bunny. Oh, that's true. That's absolutely true. How could I miss that? So, Darkrid forgetting about the Smith entrance to claim his Moon Pearl is actually causing maybe long-term damages to him.
Well, he's got to be very careful.
Oh!
Oh!
How?
I don't know how that missed him.
How? Like, I don't even know how to joke about it. Like, that just... that should not have happened.
I don't know if he still had iframes from the previous blast, or if he had iframes from firing the bow, but yeah.
Wait, bow gives you iframes?
I'm actually, it might not.
I don't think so.
Unless there's like a single iframe when you're firing, maybe.
But he wasn't firing it when... Like, the timing is really weird here. Anyway, we're going to get to see another connector, which is in logic. Meanwhile, Darkrid giving us the checks on the top of Tower Hera is actually going to be able to defeat Moldorm and claim his green pendant. Not the most useful connector. So it should be about time for the Ice Rod Cave area for eudaimonistic. Unless he finds yet another thing to do instead. While Darkrid not struggling too much with his Moldorm kill.
Yeah, he's got to get that back soon.
The good news is that whenever we actually end up getting that that Hera small key, it's not necessarily going to be the biggest issue to go back to Hera to visit it, since it's very accessible in Kakariko. All we need is the flute, and it takes a matter of seconds to go back there.
Well, Darkrid is checking some entrances.
Revisiting entrances. Does he think he forgot something? Meanwhile, the Demon 6 is going to check the last entrance of Paradox that he didn't check earlier.
Alright.
Yeah, it appears that Darkrid thinks he missed something somewhere.
Yeah, he knows he knows he's looking for something. He's not thinking about the blacksmith house.
Mm-hmm. So Eudaimonistic actually going to go north to Catfish, I believe. Does he have anything else to do here in the Dark World?
I
We've
guess
seen the shopping mall. Yeah, it's
okay, Darkrid is...
He's going for it?
Yeah, he's going for it.
Okay, so now he needs to pick up that Moon Pearl and go all the way back to Paradox as soon as possible. It has to be in the back of his mind, though. 7 items, how can you forget?
Yeah.
There it is. If I were a demonistic there, I'd probably play one game of archery game just to have 0 money.
Yeah, well, if assuming you know how to the trick to it.
It's pretty free, just need to know. You just need someone to tell you one sentence to win. You basically just hug the vendor, and then you just shoot an arrow when the squid approaches the second tile from the right. Once it lines up perfectly with that tile, you just shoot your bow and you're going to hit every single time. There are visuals that exist to help people with that. But you basically need to practice like 15 seconds and you got it forever. Very easy trick.
So, we found some interesting items. Darkrid found the magic cape on Magic Bat, which we have found Bumper Cave. That
Yes.
could be a required connector.
Indeed.
But Yuda also found a bottle, which is our first bottle.
Just need to go back to Sick Kid, which is kind of annoying to get back to. It's on Dock DM, but we need to commit to taking the connector at Hadia Island, go all the way up, jump down, and then we just check Sick Kid and then we save and quit. So not necessarily the first thing we have in mind that we want to do right away. Randomizer going to go claim his lamp, and hopefully that will guide him towards that mountain, which will give him progression with the hammer. Meanwhile, darkrid is giving us a glimpse of the Dark Cross chest.
Bad crab there.
I've been afraid for both players for the entire seed. They've been flirting at like 2 hearts, 1 hearts for so long.
Oh, yeah, I was saying, don't go through that connector.
Actually, he wants to. Once he does Thieves Town, if he takes that connector but does the bomb jump, he will be on that mountain.
Oh yeah, but he wants to go to Thieves Town first, which
yes,
right
we do want that lamp for now. But if he does take the connector, bomb jumping it is a better outcome for him than not doing it, which sounds very weird compared to usually what we want. And I believe we don't know what the next entrance to our is. Oh no, it was the one that goes to Mire. Never mind. I confused myself for a moment. Okay, so yeah, the connectors are still really in place, that bumper 1. Besides that, we have information of every other connector, I believe.
So we're kind of still in the stage of this game where we're trying to figure out where the items are.
Well, we know about proper Darkhold access. We know where the pearl is, we know where the hammer is, we know where the glove is. It's just that neither player has all 3 of these items at the same time.
Yeah, we're still kind of exploration. We're just trying to find enough stuff to actually start clearing some dungeons.
Once any of the players find all 3 of these items, that's really going to be the element that opens up most of the Dark World, and a lot more checks, probably a lot more items, and then we're going to start seeing some dungeons being done.
So Darkrid, he's got his hammer, Moon Pearl. He needs to get his way back to Mini Moldorm Cave, which I think he remembers where it is. He's kind of going the right way for that. Yeah, I think he's got to go through Lake Hylia Islands, back to Dark Death Mountain.
Good, am I sick doing the bump jump? Oh,
almost had
short. That's unfortunate because it's the right idea for the seed. So, because he missed the bump jump, he's going to have to really think back to that 1 cave south of Eastern Palace in order to get access to that mountain and find his hammer. At least it gives them information on the Dark Death Mountain connector.
Yeah, he's stuck there. He can't go back.
Yeah, he must do a save and quit. But tracking that connector properly and the way to get to it, also to get on the top of Bumper Ledge, are 2 things that people that are less experienced with entrance forget to do, and that can come back to bite them very hard later on down the road if you get a late mirror and it turns out these locations were critical and you completely forgot where to go to access them.
So Darkrid's gonna pick up his glove in just a minute. Yuda, he's in the area of that dark cave. I think he's going for it.
It looks like it. Looks pretty good. So he's going to, both players are going to claim their proper, real, normal, quote-unquote, Darkhold access at roughly the same time.
Yeah, it's still a very close race. Neither runner's claimed a crystal yet. Darkrid does have that pendant, but that's about it.
Yeah, if I were to give one of the runners an advantage, I'd probably place it on Darkrid, even though eudaimonistic is going to have to do a little bit less backtrack, but Darkrid has more exploration done of other things like Magic Bat and a lot of entrances on this Dead Mountain.
You're kind of looking through our dungeons. Desert, once we find it... Oops! That dark...
That is not what you wanted to do. And
yeah.
You don't want to rage slash too much because that can leave you open to get hit by too many cabbages and die.
Yeah. But yeah, desert, if we find the back, we can technically... No, we can't. Actually, yeah, we can. If we find the back of desert, that's beatable. Though it wouldn't be in logic. Pod we have not found any small keys for, which is really weird at 50 minutes.
Back of desert is one of these things that most of the time when you end up doing it, it's never in logic, because you never have the small key. But everyone does it anyway. Oh, this is very stressful. Firing the bow has a small delay, so...
I just want to play the...
Actually, the best play would have been to use Ice Rod.
I kind of want to just play the Benny Hill theme there, with how he was being chased by those guards. Ooh!
That is not what you want, but at least it's going to respawn with more health, and he already has his Silver's equip. So now he can just pop both guards. It's going to be a much smoother run towards the second chest now that there's a basic plan in place. And we already have that door open, so whatever. Meanwhile, Darkrid doing more stressful things. Being chased by the bird that does 4 hearts of damage.
Everything is awful right now.
I think both players are just going to be so relieved as soon as they find Blue Mail. Because right now the sea is pretty brutal to them. So eudaimonistic doesn't have that much left to do on the mountain. So after that, that should leave him pretty open to just get inside the Darkhold from whichever entrance he wants. Except the one probably south of Pod, because first, it takes a while to get there. Second, he already checked the entrances in that area, so probably something around High Cave or around Skullwoods would be logical checks to do.
We got plenty of checks around both of those. Skullwoods would be a nice one because you know the front of Skullwoods is always going to be at the front of Skullwoods, so you can get some chests there. But yeah, also around Hyde Cave is good. There's a good number of entrances in that area.
Yeah, so the big value of the front Skullwoods is that it's guaranteed items no matter what. There's a lot of searching that you do in entrance, but really every single time you find a location that's pretty dense in items, that is pretty accessible, that you know there's items there, you want to visit as soon as you can actually make the checks. So like, as we saw, Darkrid, as soon as he found his Moon Pearl, what do? We go back to Paradox, because we know there's 7 items there. And we need items, lots of items really early on. So the front Skullwood is kind of the same thing. You know there's value there. You know there's at least like 3-4 items you can get there. So it just makes sense that as soon as you go there and get some value, you just explore.
Yeah, I think in total there's 6 chests and at least 5 items you can get to. One of them is always guaranteed to be a small key. But,
yeah, the pinball room chest in entrance is never randomized. So yeah, that makes it's 4 chests if you. It's 4 chests, 5 if you include the big chest.
Ah, yes, you're right. Okay.
But for that we need the big key. Which, do we have it? I don't believe so. No, we don't.
We do not.
So that's 4 items right there accessible in the front skull. Yeah, well, Darkrid just doing the bag of escape 54 minutes in. That's a thing that is so easily forgotten by people.
Yeah, absolutely. Yuda gonna follow this cave. We haven't seen the other end of this connector yet. That doesn't help.
No, I believe we've seen it earlier from Darkrid. He definitely has that information.
Okay.
But that's basically all we can really explore reasonably in that area. So we'll probably move on to exploring the Dark World now.
Our tracker reminding us of that key we still have not seen.
Yeah, there's a key just chilling at Uncle. You're up.
They both skipped it.
The eudaimonistic's feeling a bit confused.
He might not realize right off the top of his head that he's got normal Dark World access.
Yeah, it usually takes a while before you get all these things, so you don't really think of it, but is he going for it? He's going for it! Okay, this is the moment of truth. Is it an important key? Or is it yet another pod one, which, to an extent, are important? If it's something like Swamp Key, it might be a massive advantage.
Let's see. Gannis Tower. That's that's not really needed. I mean, it's nice for route. It actually might be needed technically, but you can get by with like 2 keys.
We don't know exactly where the exact items are, so it might be hard required for an item. Is it likely that it's hard required for an item? No, but we never know. At least it's more important than an Ice Palace small key.
Yeah, I think Yuta doesn't realize he has normal Dark World. Okay, maybe he does now.
Sometimes just need some time to actually.
Oh, never mind.
Okay, but then okay. Well,
Yeah, it is.
that's unfortunate.
It's weird. It is really weird in entrance because I think I've forgotten that same thing occasionally. Like I've forgotten simple things that you would remember in any other seeds. Like,
yeah. You think, oh, I have the combination of Moon Pearl Glove Hammer. It's Darkfall time. But here,
oh, there's Blind Cell. We have not seen this. But yeah, like I think in my race on Thursday, or was it? It was a Thursday or Friday. I can't remember now. But basically, I completely forgot that the bottom portal on Eastern Death Mountain was a thing.
Blind's Hut has a hookshot that is pretty huge since we know where Hookshot Cave is. That gives us access to more checks on Death Mountain as well.
Come on, Yuda. Remember that you've got Dark World access.
It's I'm not going to mince word. If it takes you too long to realize that, it's going to feel pretty embarrassing once you do. Unfortunately. And we finally found the front of Desert Palace.
He's going back for Zora, I think.
That would make sense. That's one of the things that he didn't have complete. So he's going to get his big key. Fortunately, it's not going to be progression. And speaking of big key, we have the GT big key in the desert big chest. With the hookshot and the hammer, there's actually a decent amount of GT exploration we can do right now.
Yeah, it is. That is. We have enough to climb the GT tower at this point.
That is true. Do the players want to do that right now? Probably not. That's not a very valuable play, but definitely doing like the full left side to Ice Armos, that has pretty significant value. Especially with big key, you can just open big chest and not have to stress over it. Almost the 1 hour mark, still no sword for the runners. Desert Palace giving us an access near the bomb shop, well, at the high cave entrance. No information on Darkrid dungeons yet, however.
Yeah, we haven't found Bomb Shop, we haven't found Sarsala, which actually doesn't really matter. Well, it matters for turning into Green Pen, it doesn't matter for the info.
Yeah. Still 4 items, that's pretty significant in itself. I want these items.
Right. Did you remember?
Yeah.
You remembered he has Dark World access.
Yeah, thankfully.
I think poke a little fun at him in your private chat this week with that.
Oh, I don't think I'm going to have to, like... I don't know. I don't like to make rude jokes.
Yeah,
That's my style.
It's fair. I mean, I guess it depends on your team's dynamic too. Some of us, it's a little. You just like to make little jabs at each other. It's like, hey, forgot this.
That's true. Sometimes, like, some mistakes are so embarrassing and soul crushing when you realize them. That's like you don't need someone else to add more on it. It's like it's sufficient.
That's a good point. There's a difference between the mistakes that are like little and harmless that you can make fun of each other about, versus the mistakes that cost you a seed.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you definitely don't want to poke fun at those. But I think this is one that's more just laugh it off.
Well, we'll see. Say we end up having a very high praise that ends up being tied by 1 minute. That's the race right there.
That's a good point.
So we never know yet. So eudaimonistic needs to be careful with these skip those.
Yeah, he's got a boomerang.
The blue boomerang is actually ineffective against them. You need specifically the red one.
You do?
But yeah. But we do have the silver arrows, though. That would have worked just fine.
Yeah, unfortunately, this next room, he's got to be... Okay, I was going to say, that Gibdo can sometimes camp that door, so you got to be careful.
You know, I didn't even know there was a bunny beam there. Did I learn something?
Now, Yuda drops into the front of Skullwoods. Didn't check the other entrances, so there's a chance he's going to get locked in the back here.
Yeah, it's a very slim chance. You kind of have to take it, kind of. Like, even if he ends up being locked there, you were bound to be locked no matter what, but you still want the items there, so you don't really mind it.
Hey, there is the small key to deserts. That makes desert fully completable.
That is true.
Beyond what was on the torch.
My thought. If you drop down to the back of Skullwoods and you're stuck there, your opponent was going to be stuck there as well. So it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, and he is stuck back there. Though there is one pit he can check that might get him out of this.
Yeah, we're not confirmed stuck yet. If he lands on the top drop in the connector in the middle of Skullwoods, we're good. Map of Misery Mire, that's going to give us more information on crystals and pendants. And we are not locked. We're good.
Okay. So let's go grab the small key over here, and then... Or did he grab that small key already?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. So that'll save him a little time. Doesn't have to actually walk out of here the long way. Or save him quit and come back the long way.
And as soon as he finds the back of Skullwoods with a few bump jumps, he's going to be able to just sequence break it without the fire rod.
So we're getting to the point we've found quite a bit, but we still... Actually, there is another dungeon we can complete, because we did find the dam. Swamp Palace is... No, never mind. Swamp Small.
We're missing probably like the second most important item, because you do need the flippers, most important of all, which we do have. But yeah, without that Swamp Small, all you can open is a single chest, and it doesn't feel even worth it to go visit there.
So this is interesting. We found Pod. We have a big key. We have all the items you normally need to beat Pod. But we have no Pod Smalls.
Yeah. Exactly. We can check a few more chests, but our thread might end up very shortly. You can open like 5 chests, that's it.
Yeah, I think 5.
Yes,
the
right? 2 bow locked, then you can wrap around, open the one in the bridge, and then you drop down to the basement chest.
Well, darkrid found a sword, there's another pod key, and he found a big connector.
Yeah.
But no mirror to check it.
This is not the kind of cross-key seed you want to play. Like an R5 still doesn't have a mirror. Mirror is one of the items you're the happiest to find early. It allows you to do so much. You can efficiently route between light wall, dark wall, you can sequence break some items as a bunny. Like, you can do too many things for mirror that, like, every time you get a seed where you find it late, you're just very disappointed. And we found another entrance to Turok.
And darkrid got sniped. That's
Yeah,
a normal occurrence.
Thankfully not the end of the world. Just lose a few seconds.
Oh, there's blue mail.
He must be so happy right now. That's some stress removed. Just 2 more chests to do in pod, and then we will have to come back here later for the 9 other chests. Well, Darkrid's about to...
Darkrid is in a really bad spot.
He doesn't have one of the weapons that make it effortless to actually deal with the Pokey.
Yuda kind of made a bit... Oh, he's taking a Death Warp, okay. Which I'm not kind of sure why. I guess it's just kind of one of those autopilot things.
I believe he forgot the bridge chests.
He did.
So if he so wants to get back to it, it's going to have to revisit the right side, and oh yeah, he's going for it. Well, hopefully for him it's going to be worth the trouble, because taking that route once again takes a lot of time.
Yeah, Darkrid did do the lava chest here. Not a big deal in entrance rando. If this is just a regular key sanity, that's a bad one to check.
Yes.
But
because
in
if you
entrance rando, it's not so bad. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, just to explain it. If you play normal key sanity, you need 4 keys to complete the dungeon. That Pokey gives an extra key that typically you can quote-unquote steal and use it to actually reach the end of the dungeon while only having found 3 random small keys in the pool. Thankfully, when you play entrance, you have access to a lot more entrances in the dungeon, which allow you to make most of the checks in the dungeon without actually using many small keys at all, so you end up with a pretty significant surplus. So using small keys in that context is a lot less frowned upon. You can do races, like I did a race 2 weeks ago, where I literally lost the race just because I committed myself to open that one lava chest, and turns out that the remaining small key was at the worst location possible in the entire seed, so my opponent just finished no problem while I was struggling, still not in go mode.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a thing that we've seen a lot in Key Sandy, so really need to be careful opening that chest. But here it's fine.
So we did get a map check on Darkrid's side. We saw that Mire was a crystal, just a regular crystal.
So we are going to need Samaria for sure this seed. We're not going to be very stress killing really at all since we have silvers. It's really just a matter of finding the big key, finding Samaria, and then that dungeon should be pretty simple. We know where the hookshot is, so we can actually enter the dungeon without boots. Should be smooth from there.
Yuda is checking Turtle Rock. Darkrid did check the lava chest. He got to Chain Chomps, but took a death before he opened the chest. Oh, as Darkrid finds a second sword.
About time that they show up. Wow, 1 cast of powder, 4 anti-fairies. That's pretty efficient.
Oh, and that's a good call right there, catching a fairy.
It might end up being a negative for him soon. If he wants to ever do a death warp, he's going to have issues with it.
Yeah, that is a disadvantage to grabbing it. And it could come into play here, because after Chain Chomps he might want to just Death Warp out. But at the same time, you don't want to take a death on a horrible place and lose a lot of time.
Today I learned that Ice Rod actually one-shots the Pokies. How did I never know that?
He did take out one of the sections before using that Ice Rod, so that might have played into it.
Actually, we'll have to make some tests.
Okay, this is the chest that Darkrid missed. And I will say, having the fairy here is probably a bit of peace of mind, because even if these get out of hand. Okay, just a piece of heart. He will have to let the fairy out, which he does. Okay.
Okay, perfect. So at least the fairy guaranteed his ability to actually open the chest with no stress. Because even if we got killed, the fairy will revive him, and with the invincibility frames, he would have just opened the chest, no problem.
Yeah, exactly. So, not the end of the world there. Like, it's easy to release a fairy if needed. The only time it really sucks is if you forget about it.
Oh yeah. And Ice Palace is over there.
Yep. Darkrid
we can't do much in.
Yeah, Darkrid did see that as well. But yeah, as you said, we can't do much in there right now. No Bombos, no Fire Rod.
We can read the hint tile and remind ourselves that this is not with hints on. That's pretty much it. Fun times. Did we get an entrance from Darkrid? I don't remember seeing it.
Yeah, we saw this on Darkrid's side. This is a sword here. Yuda will get his first sword.
He's going to be quite happy for that. Darkrid performing a bum jump just for the swag. No reward, unfortunately.
Yep. And Yuda gets his sword. He slashes it in happiness.
Finally, you can just push enemies around. So, have we seen the Hookshot Cave from Darkrid?
We have not. That hookshot opens up a lot, because yeah, it opens that hookshot cave. It also opens up Eastern Death Mountain.
Yes. Which is not the most annoying place to visit, really. Just taking a connectors out of Eastern Palace anytime we want. Speaking of connector, we have a pretty good one there.
Yeah, I believe Darko did go through that one. That led to the bumper ledge.
Okay, yeah, that one, yeah.
Oh,
And there's Sasha.
did we see this on Darkrid's side?
I don't know.
We got a small key to GT, a heart, and 20 rupees. I don't think we did see this on Darkrid's side, because I don't remember that small key to GT. But this is Darkrid checking that hookshot cave.
Yeah. So hopefully for him there's going to be some value here. So far not some very good. Oh, that's some value, alright. Fire Rod.
That is definitely value. That is a full clear of Ice Pals sitting for you, if you know your sequence breaks.
Yeah, do we have the big key? We do, on both players. So yeah, it's going to be pretty simple. Unfortunately, we don't have Samaya, so we're not going to be able to perform Icebreaker. But it's not the end of the world. We can still clear everything.
Yuda's about
Sick
to
a check. Yeah.
So yeah, Yuda picked up his hook shot.
So we'll see if he actually waits a bit or goes to Hookshot Cave right away and claim his Fire Rod.
He might go back to Super Bunny quick. Or maybe not.
Possibly, yeah.
Oh, he finds Desert for the first time.
Yeah, that's going to take him a little bit more time to actually visit the other locations. But yeah, like when you find Desert, at this point in the seed, you kind of are forced to explore it.
Oh, where is Darkrid going?
Probably using his glove to check the one cave that he couldn't do earlier in the Ice-Flooded cave area.
Wait.
Or he could actually, at the same time, he's going to be able to take a connector that will lead him to that mountain.
Wait, I'm just looking at Yuda's setup here. He has all 4 GT smalls and the GT big. That is kind of heavily screaming GT.
Yes. GT is probably a location that both players should rush as soon as possible. No questions asked.
Yeah.
So yeah, Darkhead, if he marks his connectors properly, will go up there, do perform bomb jump, he'll be on that mountain, and then he can use his hookshot to go on the east that mountain. It appears to be exactly what he's going for.
And that's like kind of something you think about in a key sandy like this. If the game gives you everything you need for a dungeon early, it's generally a very good sign. The game wants you to go there for something.
That's an unfortunate draw for Darkred while sitting at the bomb jump. Unfortunately, there's no way to save it, unfortunately, so he's going to have to take another path to actually get to East that mountain. And yeah, your point is valid. When you get a lot of items early, it can mean 2 things. The first thing is, yeah, progression is definitely going in that location, go there right away. But sometimes also, the game needs to fill garbage items somewhere, and sometimes they are in earlier spheres. So it's entirely possible that GT has absolutely nothing, and the keys just needed to be somewhere for a reason. It seems pretty likely that that's the option here, however. So yeah, I think both players should go to GT and do left side as soon as they can.
There's a small desert.
I don't think he's in the mood for going back, and besides, he can't really. Meanwhile, Darkrid taking the longer connector in order to go to Dead Mountain. And he's going to push out and go to the east side. Eudaimonistic actually rushing the desert check. Unfortunately, not going to find much here. I'm really wondering when the runners are actually going to think about GT and want to visit him, because they found GT so early in the seed, right? So it's possible that it's completely out of their minds. Darkrid with the back of Desert is actually going to be able to claim his first crystal.
Yep, at about 80 minutes.
But killing boss is always backloaded in cross keys, so you don't really worry about that too much. As soon as you can get a crystal, you go do it basically at the end. It's going to lift the pod to get one small magic refill in order to have 7 fire rod shots, and probably simplify his landmill fight, though he could also use silvers. But whatever weapon you're more comfortable with is the best option for that fight.
Oh, actually, chat brings up one point. We can't get everything in GT. We can't get right side.
No, but it doesn't matter. Left side is juicy. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, good point.
That is forgot that at all. It's just, it's good enough.
Yeah, you're right.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 chests. Is that not good enough?
Yeah, it is. Sorry, I didn't mean to like make you sound like that. I was kind of reading chat, and I forgot it myself. So, but yeah, Darkrid grabs his first crystal. He's on the board first.
And yeah, like everything I listed is not even going upstairs. So, yeah, we can do so much in GT. It's very likely the progression's there.
Ooh, laser bridge, 4 items.
That is also juicy. Even if we fall here, it doesn't really matter because we're just going to respawn there, so we can just take our time. Also, Darkrid has a cape if he so desires to use it.
I think Yuda's going for swamp.
That's also a play.
Except he doesn't have small.
Yeah. That's still a play, but less so. Who knows, maybe that one chest right there in the lobby is going to be, I don't know, Samaria, and opens up kind of nothing. Who knows? Oh.
Okay. Well, we do know where we actually, no, we can't get to either tablet yet.
Nope. We still need a mirror or a connector there. Darkrid spending a lot of time to collect these items. I just want to probably just pop on the cape and just get this over with, because this is taking a lot of time.
Yeah, I know you went to your laser skips, but yeah, just get the cave.
Yeah. At some point you need to realize this is a race and you need to actually go faster. Where is eudaimonistic going next now? He's just walking to CAC? Maybe it's GT time. Maybe it's...
Yeah,
oh, you probably
I mean,
finished our hair first, maybe.
a lot of dungeons over here. Remember, this is Dungeon Village.
He cannot do anything more in Eastern than he already did. Howl Castle, I don't think he checked Darkross yet, so he could check that. Tower Hera, he only opened the first 2 chests, so he needs to go upstairs and also kill Moldorm. GT, he can do so much.
He's heading up towards GT. I think this is the GT play.
But I'm pretty confident that this is the correct play. Do we see another interesting play from darkrid? Where is he going next? From there in the mountain. I'm really wondering.
So yeah, as you're saying, a lot of items on the left side. If he chooses to climb, there's more items.
It's like 5 billion items in there. And doesn't seem like there's a billion other plays. I wouldn't be surprised if we just find this one small key here.
But this is a small key, but it's a pod small. Which is still good.
It's progression. Yes. With the amount of pod small that we found so far, it absolutely matters. darkrid going to feel bad about the fact that he needed to revisit Sea House there just for 5 rupees.
Yuda does have to be a little careful down here at 4 hearts.
He has powder, so he's going to be able to find some places to actually get refill. Screen transitions a little bit too fast, unfortunately. He's going to have to drop another bomb. A few rage slashes, it's fine. You just need to be a little bit careful to not drop the bomb too close to both of the crystal switches, or else you trigger both and it doesn't really help you at all.
darkrid finds his book as well.
Which also does nothing as well for him.
Mm-hmm.
But we have it. Is he going to remember GT himself? That's the question right now.
Looks like he's going back to Dark World. I mean, so far we haven't seen it. I mean, the pod small's good, but we haven't seen anything else in GT. Meyer small's fine. Okay, there's a big key.
It's called big. TR small. Mr. Meyer small.
That was the key room.
There's a lot of small keys in this GT. It's not the most mind-blowing keys, but like they're required by logic to be somewhere for the completion of their respective dungeons, so it makes sense. Yeah,
it does. You know, as you said, not mind-blowing, but good little things to find.
Besides the pod ones, the other keys we didn't necessarily really need. All you want to do Mr. Meyer comfortably is 1 small key. Same thing with Ice Palace.
Now, hopefully Yuda remembers the big chest before he goes downstairs.
Oh yeah, skipping it will feel pretty bad. Oh, he's going for it. All good. A very annoying situation across keys is when you were able to do left side and right side GT, but didn't get the GT big key until very late game. You never feel like actually going back to that big chest.
I take it that beetle up before you jump.
Yeah, just hit it with the hook shot.
Hit iframes.
The problem.
Yeah, that would have made me a little nervous.
It's definitely not what you want to do, bump jump and then immediately get knocked into the hole.
Oh, darkrid, you can go through that cave.
Yes.
I was gonna check the others first. Okay.
Completely reasonable. We'll probably see where the connector lays afterwards. Though there's not that many places that it can lead us that will actually give us significant progression. Big key to a rock, that's not nothing.
That is a good big key to find. We don't know if we need to finish Turtle Rock yet, but... What is Darkrid? You took a fortune?
When you talk to the fortune tellers, they do heal you.
Okay, that's good knowledge.
It costs a little bit of rupees, but when you're in a pinch and need it, then it's very convenient. And eudaimonistic going upstairs to Aga too.
Okay, that's a good connector to find. The floating island, that's... We haven't seen what's on the floating island yet, so that might be a required...
Possibly, yeah, once we have the mirror. So... We did establish that there had to be one item in the pyramid, right?
Yes, the Lost Woods drop.
Yeah, that's maybe why we got every single key for GT.
Now, it's only a fighter, so this is a bit annoying, but he does have silver arrows, he does have a hammer to use. He can catch a fairy if he wants to, so this isn't going to be a bad climb.
Once you're done with the gauntlet, you don't necessarily need to kill enemies all that much. You just need to like avoid them. And the few you have to kill, you can always use the hammer. To kill Lanmo, you're going to use your silvers or fire rod. And then for Moldorm, it's going to be a hammer fight, no problem. After that, it's basically just going to be like the two Wizrobe rooms that, without Samaria, are pretty annoying to do.
Yeah.
They're slow, but they're not dangerous.
Yeah, I'd be using the silvers even as much as they lag the room, I'd use the silvers as much as I could on this climb.
Especially since some pods afterwards have some arrow refills, just spam away. And you can always just toggle them off and still one-shot these skeletons.
Darkrid heading up to Catfish. We've already seen this. I don't think it was anything important.
I generally don't remember.
That's usually a good sign that it's not important.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
it was a bottle. Well, yeah, kind of. At the time, it was our first bottle. But, yeah, not really important.
It's not
now.
nothing, but it's not mind-blowing. Okay, eudaimonistic needs to be very careful. The execution of this room is going to make or break. And the very next room is going to be able to...
Ooh!
Was going to be able to get a fairy in the very next room, fortunately. I feel that not committing to this would be a mistake, but he is in bad shape equipment-wise, unfortunately.
Yeah.
We never found the potion shop, right?
We have not found Potion Shop. So he's out of GT for now. He did find some big keys in there.
They're not the most valuable with our current knowledge, however.
I mean, he's got stuff to do new stuff. He's got pod keys. He can go back to pod. He does have that Turtle Rock big. He can check a few more chests in Turtle Rock.
He needs to go back to Hookshot Cave to claim his fire rod.
That would be good. Darkrid, meanwhile, he's kind of... I feel like he's just been wandering for a while.
Yeah. It feels like for his routing, he either needs to go to Ice Palace or go to GT. Everything else feels like he can't really accomplish much.
Yuda heading over here. I think there was a dungeon over here. I can't remember which one.
Up there is Ice Palace.
Oh, he's going to Dark World. This is a Meyer play, potentially.
Oh, yes. Yes, there's Mr. Meyer. I thought you were talking for Darkrid. Darkrid is hidden the weight of Ice Palace up there. And that's also put there.
Darkrid has 2 keys. He can do a little bit more. With 2 keys, you could potentially clear out everything in this dungeon except for Harmless Hellway and the Vanilla Big Key chest.
Yes, absolutely. But for that, you also need to know the hammer jump. It's one of the most elaborate bump jumps in the game. It's not that difficult, but it does require some practice to be able to nail consistently.
Yeah, exactly. It's like in normal modes, it's really not that useful, but in Key Sanity, it is incredibly valuable.
It potentially allows you to just single dip the entirety of Palace of Darkness from the first visit, or at least get almost every single item, and then you hope that the game doesn't punish you by putting a required item in the Harmless Hellway. Then you need to come back much later, and you never feel like making that play. Yeah. In normal modes, it's basically only worth it if you end up finding the big key in the front, and if you want to go for it, you need to nail it pretty much first try, or else you're actively losing time on your routing of the dungeon. We did find a bump boss in Mizumaro, however, so that will give us access to the vanilla Mizumaro entrance. Besides that, not much.
You could also use it for Ice Palace.
Yeah, that's right. He doesn't have the fire rod yet.
I'm
So
sure
it does broaden his options, but it's not exactly what he wants right now. It's not what helps him the most. He'd be happier finding Mirror right now.
Yeah, I feel like that's been like basically his route recently. It's like he's finding a lot of stuff that will help, but not what he really wants to see.
And without fire rod, we need to do the slightly more annoying way of routing this. By the way, if you are quick at performing the rooms, you can totally just light the first 2 torches before going down to even push the blocks in the south room. You have enough time.
Remember Thieves Town? That is info we don't have yet. Surprisingly, we're only an hour in. We only for sure know 2 of our crystals.
Hour 35 even. Oh, big key to Thieves Town. There it is.
Well,
So that's another dungeon we can complete now, fully.
Meanwhile, Yuda's down to 2 more checks in Meyer. Doesn't have the big key, so he can't check the big chest. He can't get to Vitreous. Darkrid is attempting the hammer jump.
I believe he was 1 pixel too high. Going downstairs, you don't actually need to go downstairs to reset the bridge.
Oh, he's just going to use the key.
Oh, well done.
Well, not a big deal. We do know where some other keys are, so...
He just needs to find 1 more at any point in order to finish the dungeon, so he'll be fine.
Oops.
So it's not the direction that the block is, but sure.
Oh, we found Mir in Pod.
Oh. Well then. Yeah, that's not what you want to see if you're cheering for eudaimonistic, which I kind of am. It's about Rando's Rando. So...
Oh my goodness!
Well then, let's open that big chest.
If Samari's in here, everyone's going to go crazy.
Oh, that's going to be a very dumb scene. And yeah, you need to actually leave the super tile for the bridge to respawn. So now we should be good.
Darkrid's probably going to go back and check the bridge chest, I think. Or no, I think he checked the bridge chest. He didn't check the drop down. Okay, it's not that dumb of a seed. A vanilla big key, or not vanilla big key, but a key in its vanilla dungeon is annoying, but it's not. It's definitely not the worst we've ever seen.
No, he'll be fine.
Yeah, Yuta needs to go back to pod now. Our tracker actually made a
Yeah.
good point. That mirror is locked behind behind all 6 pod keys.
So it's actually unlikely that the mirror leads to much progression. At least not progression that matters right now. We're missing a lot of pod small keys.
So a dip in the pod be good for Yuta, as darkrid is gonna push that mirror right away, gonna check graveyard ledge.
What if you go upstairs GT and it's pod small key, pod small key, pod small key?
I'd be a little annoyed.
Yeah, that would be pretty stupid. So darkrid can just finish Thieves Town now, so...
Yeah, he does have the ability to finish Thieves Town. We do have the map, he hasn't checked it.
So it's just going to be a matter of visiting the Ice White Cave area later on. No new information on this map check from eudaimonistic. And he's going to go kill Moldorm.
He did find Saharsala, which is right in the Dark Village, so if he gets that pendant, he can turn that in right away.
He's going to go for the Herapot, which he set up one tile, 2 on left, fortunately.
He gave it a try or two, and he's like, nope, let's just do this normally.
Cutting his losses, that's fine.
So darkrid has checked this, we know there's nothing up here, but he has not turned in the green pendant yet. Darkrid's gonna give us a look at what's in the Skull Woods back entrance.
Can he open the big chest? No, it's eudaimonistic that has a big key right now.
Yeah, that was in GT.
Yeah. So we'll have the information of this entrance, which is the bomb shop. So we can learn about our 2 red crystals right now if he just talks to the NPC. Which he decides not to...
He's gonna ped check.
He doesn't have the... Oh no, he does have the book, right. He did go to Swamp Palace as well, that's right. That's a map. We're not going to pick that up. But yeah, when you do find that bomb shop, talk to the NPC. It gives you a lot of information. We do have a red crystal already, so it only gives us information on a second red crystal, but at the end of this entrance seed, that information can really add up and make a difference.
Yeah, if you have to make a 50-50 decision late in the game about which dungeon to dive, and you choose wrong, but you could have checked the map for it, that definitely will hurt.
So it's just me, there was no boss music right there.
Yeah, I've noticed that. I don't know if it's a cross keys thing or just a current bug in the rando, but yeah, the Moldorm fight at the top of here hasn't had boss music.
Huh. I haven't noticed myself, probably because I play without music on.
Darkrid's making his GT dip.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see if he goes upstairs. His visit is going to be slightly faster because he has a mirror to go back to the beginning. But yeah, like it's all going to be about that gauntlet play. Because eudaimonistic seemed to have decided that he was not going back. Because where he was would have been a perfect spot to try again. Full health. So So we're going to get another peg check.
Yeah, as we are at 1 hour 45 minutes, we do only have one crystal, but that kind of is also how cross keys goes sometimes. It's like you're just a lot of the early game to mid game is just collecting what you need to beat the dungeons, and then you get a crystal rush at the end.
You find one item, you're like, okay, can get 2 crystals now. Something like a Samaria, something like a mirror can just give you access to 2 dungeons that you always could have been able to finish, but you never found.
So, looking at what we've got, we can complete pod technically if you use your proper sequence breaks and everything. I believe we did find the back of Skullwoods at some point. Could complete that, but it's only a pendant.
I don't think we've seen that.
I think we did really early because I remember them going in for 1 item.
Yeah, I generally don't remember that. Unfortunately, Green Pendant is just going to be 3 bombs. So finishing Tower here and going all the way there is a dud.
What else we got? Thieves Town, Darkrid could complete whenever he wants. Ice Palace is completable,
Yes.
though it's a bit ugly. Mire, we still need some Maria. Turtle Rock, we'll need some Maria. One of the big things Yuda needs... Oh, he's going back to Pod. This is good for him.
Yeah, he has a lot more Smuckies of earlier. So I'd probably save one to not open on that door right now.
Well, if he doesn't check the... he's... Okay, this is interesting routing. I'll say that much. Because he's blowing some keys here.
Yeah. So he only has 1 key remaining. Where was the mirror exactly?
I believe it was in the big chest, or it was in the dark maze.
Okay.
Oh!
Okay.
Okay.
So that helps Darkrid put his mirror in logic, now that he knows about that. Okay, Dark Maze. Okay, so as long as you hammer Yams, he's fine. Even then, like with his current knowledge of keys, he might just opt not to.
Yeah, he'll use one to get into the back of Pod. He can leave Harmless Hellway behind and just complete the dungeon if he wants to.
So we keep hyping up this mirror and how nice it is to have, but we've yet to actually get anything with it, right?
Yeah, Darkrid checked Graveyard Ledge. That was it.
Yeah, the mirror checks have not been prioritized. It could lead to something interesting.
Yuda's gonna pick up his Thieves Town big key.
So both players have that Thieves Town play pretty accessible. It's very possible that both players are just waiting to find a flute in order to head over there. Makes it faster.
Turtle Rock big key for Darkrid. Oh.
And we're burning the key there, so we have to hammer Yum to get that mirror right now. Red Boomerang. That was not what you want to see.
Yeah.
Alright, it's hammer Yum time.
That was clean.
Wow, that was beautifully executed. And there it is. So that's going to feel good for eudaimonistic right now. Meanwhile, Darkrid is actually going for the gauntlet. So we'll see if it ends up being a good move or a bad move. I think it has to be the play though. Even though we found other items elsewhere and it seems to be opening up the seed more and we have other plays, I don't know, I kind of believe in these keys. All the GT keys that we found.
4 items at the top plus a check at the Lost Woods drop at the pyramid.
There's going to be something relevant there. There has to be. Feel free to poke fun at my instincts in 5 minutes, as I'm wrong.
Let's see what Yuda's next move is.
He can go to Ice Palace, he's right next to it. Though he might not want to go fight Cold Stare without Fire Rod, with Fighter Sword.
He needs to go back to Hookshot Cave. Hopefully he remembers
Yes.
what that is.
That'll help him a lot actually get through the dungeon.
Actually,
Kinda.
Hookshot Cave would be a good place for him to... No, never mind. That's not the ledge I was thinking. I think... Did Hookshot Cave lead to a mirror spot?
No. That's Spectacle Rock leads to the Dark Wall connector. The Dark Wall, the connector with the... As if that's very descriptive. I mean the Turok Dark DM connector.
You know, Darkrid, he did pick up a fairy or two, so he's a bit better prepared for this climb. Master Sword might make Ice Palace look a little bit better now.
Yeah, definitely. But I think before you go to Ice Palace, I think you went to Ice Palace there because you were in the area. So if you forget about it, you kind of missed the buff. Okay, he's still in the area. Okay, that's good. That's good. You're there.
There's his Pocky, he needs to finish it.
Yeah.
And that's nothing.
Fortunately, not the entrance you want, but you have that not have to think about anymore.
But he could just walk right back to Pod. He can't go back through there.
Nope. He can jump down though and just deal with the birds. Not a big deal. We can just go north of where he is, go to like that wooden house, and it'd be a nice palace right away. So it would have been like the moment to ride it.
Now, Darkrid continuing his climb.
Let's start beam so you can kill the whiz ropes pretty quickly. The Mystic going to go in the dark hole there. What for? Just checking the tablets? Bambo's tablet, do we have other significant mirror spots?
I don't know if there was... okay, 45.
Yes.
We can also go back to Thieves Town from here if he wants to.
Yeah. Not exactly where you want to go after checking key 45, but because if you check key 45, you kind of want to continue to go to the racing game. There's a shovel in the racing game.
Oh, yeah, and there's also that
else
you can check over there too.
Absolutely. Information on the tablet. And it's a normal crystal in Eastern Palace. So we will need that big key. Meanwhile, Darkrid not getting anything very mind-blowing so far.
3 more checks.
It's...
Okay. Now that's nice, but
it just
not,
takes one. It just takes one entrance that's required for, and that's massive.
Yeah. In entrance, the myths aren't quite as useful, but there's only like 1 or 2 entrances they would open up for sure. And I think the only one for sure at this point is the Ice Palace entrance plus maybe Turtle Rock. But yeah, that's still a peace of mind to have right there.
In entrance, myths as kind of the logical equivalent of boots in normal seeds. It just opens you very few entrances instead of being something that's hard required to finish most seeds. or like all seeds when you play a normal 7/7 open settings.
You'd just save and quit after checking K45.
Hmm. Here's the thing about this dungeon is like Thieves Town beckons.
Yeah, this is the time in the seed I'd start pushing dungeons more.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think what else you really. I mean, obviously you want Samaria, you want your Fire Rod. Those are the big two items you're still looking for on either side. I mean, Darkrid still needs Samaria. In terms of items, though, we don't need a lot else.
We don't
I
need
mean,
the fleet at all. We have connected to Mario, yeah, so it's good.
Oh, this is a nice find, though.
Yes, quite. Nice triple for Darkrid. Oh,
Okay.
nice blue ball right there, going at the other end of the room. So we have Samaria. We can finish Mizumar now. So honestly, if I were in his place, I'd do Thieves Town, I'd finish Mizumar, and then I'd do Ice Palace. It's very likely that just bam 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 you get 3 crystals. Like of Desert, that's another thing he can do. So will Darkrid get even more value out of his play? That's what we're about to see. Or not? Yes? It's cross keys, we know the goal.
All right.
I'm confused.
Oh, he's gonna. Okay, he's up on the pyramid. He's gonna check these entrances. There's
makes
Mimic.
sense. We could have done that after the drop as well. But yeah, that is also a thing to do, yes.
Just bomb. So far, your prediction of that mirror not leading to anything is somewhat true. I mean, yeah, we did find Hype Cave from that, but that was not a mirror locked entrance per se.
No. Oh, just barely one cycle, Landmo. Very nicely done. And finally, eudaimonistic getting on the board with his first crystal. 1 hour 56 minutes in.
Yeah. At this point, like, so you want to push dungeons, but for you to, he also needs to find back to Hookshot Cave, get his Fire Rod.
Mhm.
And so the Lost Woods drop down was Red Mail. Nice safety, but not required.
No?
So it basically the climb is all about those mitts.
Yes. And as we said, it just requires one entrance that we need the mitts for, and it's going to be necessary for the main stick to get them as well. So we found most entrances dungeons wise.
Yeah.
Is there something massive that we haven't found?
I mean, beyond like maybe some item caves, yeah, I don't think there's anything we have to really worry about.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we still need some keys. Key-wise, we need Eastern Big.
Yeah.
We need the Swamp Small, potentially. Actually, that's pretty much it, keys-wise.
Yeah, we don't need that much else. We're pretty close to Island Go mode despite the dungeon progression.
Well, Yuta doesn't have the cape, so... Cape was at Magic Bats.
Yeah. The more the game opens up, the harder it is to actually remember Hookshot Cave. So, for his sake, I hope he remembers soon.
Okay, he got through Laser Bridge. Meanwhile, Darkrid, what's his next stop?
Dungeons? Equipping the hookshot to go. Turtle Rock with the big key. With the entrance in
Could,
Jericho.
but he doesn't. He doesn't have Samaria.
Yeah, it's hookshot. Wasn't that the entrance to big chest?
It is, so he could get 2 items from here.
Oh boy.
Alright, we have not found Potion Shop yet.
Mm-hmm.
He could have also gone for a little further and got to Crystal Roller Room.
That is true. He seems to be thinking, maybe trying to find or remember if he did find the potion shop before or not. While marking his mushroom. You have the big key for every single dark hole dungeon. For both runners. Big key wise, we are only missing Mizumar for darkrid, which is in Mizumar, and Eastern Palace for both runners.
We're gonna get a Hera check and an Ether tablet check, most likely. But actually, we haven't been on the top of Light World Death Mountain, which there was a connector that led to the floating islands that will have an item, but we don't know what it is.
That is true.
So this is new information.
So the Smoky Swamp? Turok, okay. We're probably going to need a Smoky Swamp, unfortunately.
There's the
there's still
library.
library.
No, I think Darkrid's heading towards that ledge that leads to Hype Cave. Or was this Bumper Ledge?
That was Bumper
That was
Ledge.
Bumper Ledge. Never mind. There is a
That's a
small
small
key that could be the Swamp Small.
I think it's a connector that eudaimonistic. I haven't clearly remember which connector it was.
Oh,
Aha!
okay. I thought
knew
we
we
had
hadn't
found
found
this.
it yet. Yeah.
You know, I think I was watching a different race before this that they did find that early. So there's the perils of being a commentator who watches other races.
At some point, like, even as a player doing 2 races back to back, it can cause you to make really stupid mistakes.
Yeah, it's generally not a good idea as a player to run a cross keys practice right before you do a cross keys race. If you do that, you want to have significant time between them.
So Eudaimonistic, since he doesn't have a Farah, is going to have to perform a bomb jump to go up there. Fun fact, you don't even have to do a spin setup to do it, you just have to like line your back to the wall that you see on the left. Just backing yourself on the wall and going near the hole, you're going to succeed the bomb jump, no problem every time.
So Darkrid found a small key to ice to start.
That's the place to find them, apparently. Yeah. Yeah, you back yourself to the wall. Oh. Okay. I know it was that lenient that you could just move to the side.
Well, he's got to be quick.
There's enough time, though. It's not... I don't think these hookshot plays are necessarily making a difference here. So if he wants decent health for the fight, he probably wanted 2 powder. This bunny beam.
Oh
It's going to
yeah.
be a scary fight for him right now.
I almost wonder if he's starting to rush a bit.
There's a heart under that pot. That would probably help him. He doesn't have fire out, so it's going to be like a master sword and a hammer fight with 3 hearts and a half. That is not what you want.
Darkrid, ooh, he might be... Oh, he just took a death. Does he have a fairy
Oh.
still?
Probably, I think. Yes. Yeah, so doing spins against Mod can be very scary because if you hit the spikes too much, he can animation lock you and then things run into you. So yeah, unfortunately the expected outcome kind of happened. I want to say expected, but it was going to be an extremely difficult fight, so... Good use of bombs from Darkrid. And we found Quake in the back, so now we have access to the entrances of both entrants are open with medallions, except not for Demonistic, because he still needs the myths to be able to get on top of the rock.
Yeah. Now, Yuta dipping out of Skull Wards, which is fine. If he knows that's a pendant, then he knows he doesn't necessarily have to beat that.
But the item on the boss can be scary.
That's true. So yeah, right now, big thing for Yuta, he's got to go back to Hookshot Cave. Hopefully he didn't forget about that, because that is where his fire rod is. Darkrid's got to make his way to Hype Cave, which is basically the Light World Laser Bridge entrance. That'll get him Samaria. And then we're still on the hunt for the Eastern Big and the Swamp Small.
Yeah, which could be in so many different places still. We are definitely not done with the seed. Not
And
at all.
it is worth mentioning we might not need the Swamp Small. We don't know if Swamp is a crystal or pendant. It's more likely than not a crystal. But we have not confirmed.
I think if you're both runners, you're operating under the assumption that you do need it. Like, we need more dungeon clears before we can try to pinpoint that. Speaking of which, we just got the map of Turok, so that's going to be more information once Darkrid leaves Ice Palace.
I think Yuta's thinking. Now, Darkrid. Yeah, this is a pretty easy bomb jump.
The easiest in the game. All you have to do is jam your face in the corner and drop a bomb and not move.
I'm just gonna check the big chest, and then I got a cold stare fight.
Which will definitely be simple for him. So he needs magic to be able to just unfreeze Cold Stare.
Yeah, he doesn't have enough magic, and he can't get into the restock room right over there.
So he's going to have to kill enemies, and oh, is he going to drop down and then realize, oh no.
Nah,
He
he's
could still unfreeze Cold Stare by using a trick with multiple projectiles with arrows or sword beams. You can basically convert a hit of the fire rod into a double hit by quickly hitting it with either an arrow or a sword beam right afterwards.
he knows his magic situation. He's not going down.
It's a little bit tricky to get used to with the bow, but it's really not that difficult to basically duplicate your shots.
And
Yeah,
that might,
that might be what he's going for with after refitting his health right there.
yeah, it looks like Yuta's just kind of checking one-offs now. Yeah, right as you said, Darkrid's doing
There it
exactly
is.
what you said.
He just lost Sarbeams, but I think it's good. Yeah.
Alright.
So now we have a pretty normal fight. We are out of magic, so it's going to be a pure Master Sword or Hammer fight if he wants to do it. He has Red Mail, so the puffs don't hit as much, but they're hitting him frequently, and we're not halfway into the fight, so needs to be careful going on from here. Taking your time.
He might still have another fairy, I'm not sure.
But that's possible. An option for him would be to hug the top of the room so that the ice that drops cannot split because it falls too high in the room.
He's got it, though.
Nice. Eudaimonistic actually finding a location with an island in the entrance of Mizumar. And it's tempered.
And there's our third pendant, so everything else is crystals.
Interesting. So we do need that small key to Swamp Palace. So right now, we can do Mizumar, we can do Thieves Town, we can do Pod. We're missing like one key for finishing Pod to be logical. But I think both runners can just casually walk in and do it at any time right now. I think.
Yeah, my hope on both sides is they didn't forget about the location that they need to go to. Which sounds really vague, but it's the best way I can phrase it.
We don't actually know the second 5-6 dungeon. I think it's Darkrid that found the actual bomb shop earlier and didn't talk to the NPC.
Yeah, but at the same time, we already know what's at that at the pyramid crack. It is, I think, an exit from Paradox Cave.
Yes. So yeah, it doesn't exactly really matter what the crystals are. But I think the information earlier of which crystals could have helped them a little bit prioritize dungeons. Like if you just heard that, oh, T-Stone's a crystal, maybe they would have rushed it and done that a long time ago. Speaking of that, is that where eudaimonistic is headed to?
I think he said, I believe this was Hookshot Cave. No, he's not.
That's the direction of T-Stone. So that's good for him. Meanwhile, Darkrid is very likely just going to go kill Helmazar right now.
Yeah. Like I said, you're at the point. I think, honestly, these runners are a little behind on this, but they need to push Crystal Dungeons.
Now, I don't think this seed is quite trolly, actually. It's just the way both runners have decided to handle it that seems to project that impression.
Yeah, this is definitely not the worst seed I've seen.
I think the wrong checks are being prioritized, that is all.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I think that's the right way to put it. Just, they're prioritizing the wrong things. I don't think it's been a bad seed, necessarily. Pending one thing, and that is those myths. But, like I said, like we said earlier, it's basically, it only opens a couple locations.
Yeah, the trolliest thing is the myths upstairs in GT. Except we don't even know yet if the myths lead to anything required to finish the seed. So that's one advantage that Darkrid has right now. That we'll have to see if they actually matter. They might be important logically to get like one small key to Mizumar. Like not even, we have all three. Like maybe Ice, I don't know, like one of the small keys we won't actually need, and that's logically in the inner workings of the seed what the myths were meant to, but in the context of this seed racing it, we don't actually need it. So
yeah, And
We'll
I'm actually
find out
looking at...
eventually. Oh, big key.
Ooh,
Big-
there we go. There's one.
We're down to one key necessary to finish the game. The Swamp Small.
And
So elusive.
I'm looking at what the keys they've got. That key on the floating island. The possibilities are Hera Small, Swamp Small, Ice Palace Small, and Turtle Rock Small.
Yeah. Can you imagine they didn't go back for that small key in the Uncle Drop?
Oh, that
Right
would have
now
been
we
so...
will be yelling about it.
Yeah. Darkrid takes out Helmisar King. That is his second crystal, fourth dungeon.
Getting somewhere, getting somewhere. He just needs to get his key in Samaria, and he's going to be able to finish TR. And then once he has Samaria, whenever he enters Mr. Mario, is going to be able to complete it because the big key of Mr. Mario is in the dungeon proper. That might trip him for a while. He might opt to not go there for a long time because of it.
So we officially have all of our big keys out of the way now. Small key to ice.
That only helps in making it more likely that that small key up on the floating island is the small key we're looking for all along.
Yeah. Oh, we do also need a castle tower small. Good point by chat.
Do we?
We don't need it. We haven't seen it. I should rephrase
Oh,
that.
yeah, yes, okay.
Okay,
That
here's a
I can agree
location.
with.
Here's a location that was myths blocked.
Yes. So if there's something important here, we have a massive advantage for Darkrid. And
Nope.
that's nothing.
We also have the smith that is myths blocked. We have the purple chest that's myths locked.
Yes. Oh, we're looking for so little items. And a map. Map of GT. You can use that as toilet paper. It doesn't do much.
We also have the shovel
Yeah, the shovel.
and this entrance, which is
Can
nothing.
you do the race with the NPC?
I guess so.
Oh. Sometimes the game works in mysterious ways and you're just not sure.
I think some of this is fixes that they made just specifically for cross keys.
Possibly.
But we got Yuta going back up to Mimic Cave, the Mimic Cave entrance. We haven't seen what's over here yet.
Which one is that again? We have so much connector to see that we're all relevant. Oh, this one. Yeah, that's good. We don't know about these two entrances right there.
Ooh, that is bonk rocks for arrows. Okay, gonna get a shovel check. Answer a quick question, chat. That's not a sphere 1 location in cross keys.
Nope. Seeing as we needed that mirror that was logically locked behind having all 6 pod keys in pod, which was in Village of Outcasts, and we needed a ton of things, this is probably a sphere 12 item. Something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Basically, well, at this point, for anybody who's been in late, we need Yuta to go back to Hookshot Cave to get his fire rod. Darkrid needs to find Hype Cave to get his Samaria. And both of them need to find the Swamp Small.
Yeah, Darkrid is going to have to grab his big key to Eastern Palace, but is going to be on his way of collecting the other crystals, so that's not really a worry. Speaking of collecting crystals, Eastern is exactly where eudaimonistic is going with said big key.
Yeah, he's pushing dungeons now. 2 more items in here. Big chest and Armos. You can go back to Pod as well. Get one more item. Turtle Rock. I can't complete Turtle Rock without the Samaria.
But when do you ever go back to Hotshot Cave? That's the scary part.
Yeah, I'm hoping he didn't forget about Hookshot Cave. Darkrid, in his case, he just hasn't found. No, actually, he knows where the ledge is, and he can get there from the top of Death Mountain. It's actually a pretty easy cave for him to get to at this point.
It's just not high in his list of priorities.
Right.
He's probably prioritizing the missed checks right now because it's one of the distinct advantages that maybe he feels like he might have over his opponent. So if something there pays off, it might lead him to victory.
Right, next check. Piece of heart. He does have another mid check just to the right in Ice Palace. Though he might go do Thieves Town first.
Yeah, that's what I'd do. It's just, unless you find a flute somehow, you're never closer to that location than right now, and you can full clear, so not doing it is just wasting time.
Here's our Armos Knights fight.
With Silver Arrows, it's not much of a worry.
Smonkey to Pod.
Oh, that's the sixth one.
That is the sixth one. So
logically, as soon as we were saying we should go to Thieves Town, that's what we need to do to logically go to Eastern, to then logically being able to claim the mirror. Interesting.
Alright. So yeah, what else do we still... I mean, Yuda can go back and clear Meyer.
Yes.
Still can't go through that way.
Nope.
Yeah. I think Meyer might be
Meyer. Yeah.
Well, Meyer's back over on the other side of the world. I think you do a save and quit to get there.
It's only one check as well, so he just, like, the thing that worries me personally is that we've been saying that he needs to go back to Hotshot Cave for over an hour, and he's shown no sign of doing that. So,
Yeah.
like, when do you do it then? Is it
Yeah.
ever going to happen? When you hit the complete brick wall of desperation that you have absolutely nothing to do? Like, he's going back to Skullwoods because he got a big key earlier, right? So he can open
Yeah.
big chest, and that's it. But he's doing that over checking
He-
Hookshot Cave.
He can
Right.
also go to the back of... well, he could have gone back to Skullwoods. He might be going to Ice Palace. Or Pod.
Okay, yeah. That would make more sense.
Yeah, he's doing Ice Palace. Which he probably doesn't know is a pendant. Yeah, because I think someone said the map for Ice was on Cold Steer.
Yeah, no way to know, so you need to burn some time there. I think if eudaimonistic never remembers about Hookshot Cave, Darkrid is likely to win this race. So Darkrid, he's claiming his big key to Eastern Palace. So once out of here, he might drop the idea of going to get the small count floating island and instead go straight to Eastern Palace himself, which wanted him much more than an extra crystal, but he needs to do it eventually. Eudaimonistic, a difference over his Ice Palace versus Darkrid is that he actually has Samara, so he's going to be able to perform the Icebreaker glitch, which allows you to, in the room that eudaimonistic is entering, actually do a pretty precise setup to actually manage to use a Samara block to clip yourself on the other side of that wall. Sometimes we make mistakes and we mess it up, but it's okay. It's pretty easy to just reposition and try again. So we just need to push that block 1 pixel to the left, and then that allows us to clip through that wall, as we see, and it gives you much quicker access to the items on the right side of Ice Palace. Meanwhile, Dark Red just making short work of blind with Red Mail with 14 hearts. You don't really fear anything. And he claims his 3rd crystal? I believe he has Helma killed. I did see a Helma kill earlier. So we're going to get that bomb jump up here. This is going to put us back on top of Death Mountain. What can Dark Red do? Oh, he misses the bomb jump too. Well, that will lead him to the Turok connector, which I think he has yet to mirror there, so that's fine, it's still progression for him. But even if he wanted to go to that mountain right now, in the light wall, what can he do? He has mitts. What does that give him? That doesn't really give him anything that he hasn't done yet, right? Unless he has yet to go check Tarhera and the Ether tablet, which I honestly forgot. Randomizer taking the long way to go to Ice Tea Room. When you have both keys and big key, you can just do very simple bomb jumps, so this is a bit of a waste of time, unfortunately, but sometimes taking the path that you're comfortable with is the better option.
We've got Darkrid back in Skull Woods. Yuda did try to get to the back here, but took that death. We know it's a pendant, but there is still that item on Mothula.
Of course, that's the one thing that is on that mountain I forgot about. Yeah. I don't think Darkrid even knew that. He was just exploring. Oh yeah,
he didn't know this was here.
Yeah. It's just that after Thieves Town, I was wondering where he was headed. Like going back to that mountain, it's like, well, what is interesting in that mountain again? And yeah, the answer is the very few entrances he had yet to do included this one, which is quite critical to finishing the scene. Actually, not really, it's dependent.
But he's also right next to Hype Cave with the Samaria. Unfortunately, he can't get there from here, but he's right by it.
So he's going to be in a much better shape to do this boss fight than eudaimonistic was earlier. Half a magic tank, he has 10.5 more hearts, he has red mail.
Why does he have the mirror?
Don't use mirror, what are you doing? It's like as if this boss isn't anxiety inducing enough. Let's equip something on your Y button that if you accidentally hit it, you just fail the fight.
Well, thankfully he didn't hit it. Oh, a small key.
Oh.
It's a castle tower, okay.
If that was the swamp one, that might have been the race right there. Possibly.
But that just further increases the likelihood that key on the floating island is the swamp small. At this point, it's either Hera, Swamp, or Turtle Rock. And there's a double chance of it being Turtle Rock, because we're still missing 2 of those.
Do we really have everything else? Like, are there really only 3 small keys remaining in the entire game?
Well, technically 4. There's 2 Turtle Rocks.
What's the 4th one then?
There's 2 Turtle Rock keys.
Yeah, there's 2 TR. There was 1
2 TR, 1 Swamp, 1 Hera.
Oh, Hera, yeah, that's the one I was forgetting, yeah. That works. So, Randomizer, not quite sure where to go next. Little moment of hesitation.
I think Darkrid's also not sure.
Mm,
Little does he know, downright is his answer.
It's burning. Hmm.
I think this is heading in the way of Hookshot Cave. Come on.
Sometimes you just need to stare at the shimmering of a portal to get ideas.
That was a nice jump.
It's a nice little trick. When you hold an item, you can't actually go through a portal, so it allows you to walk through it. You can do that with some area blocks as well. Anything can hold above your head. Eudaimonistic going to Mizumari, it seems.
You can finish that, yes.
Just need to enter the portal and then enter the cave.
Recap again for those who have joined late. Yuda needs the fire rod in Hookshot Cave. Darkrid needs Samaria in Hype Cave. And we're still looking for the Swamp Small.
Yep.
You know where else Yuda could check? Right side GT.
Oh, that is true. But if he ever goes back to that, he's probably going to want to commit upstairs. Which potentially is time loss for him, if it turns out to not be required.
Yeah, I'm hoping he just did not forget about Hookshot Cave. I can't even remember where Hookshot Cave is at this point. I think it was like
I don't
Adlia?
remember either. We found it like 30 minutes in. He had like an hour and a half that he could have come back to and he has yet to. So I think it's like... I think it's completely forgotten. Unless he like hits a wall eventually. But
Darkrid is heading in the right spot for his Samaria.
yeah. Eudaimonistic might just hit... He might hit Go mode without Fire Rod before he hits that wall that makes him remember to go back to Hookshot Cave.
The thing is, we absolutely know Fire Rod is required for Turtle Rock.
That's the one problem.
Yeah, Dark checking entrances up here. I don't see how he passes up this cave. He's about to get... I'm pretty sure he's about to get Samaria. Unless he goes to the Turtle Rock portal. But even then, he could still get it. And Yuda forget to hit the switch.
But the Turtle Rock portal wouldn't give him really anything because he doesn't have the medallion to open it, I think.
That's a good point. He has neither medallion, which is weird.
No, actually he has a medallion. It just hasn't been updated tracker. There's been some tracking.
Oh, he does have Quake.
It's fine. Yeah, exactly.
Quake is the medallion to open Turtle Rock.
Yes, that's what I just said. It just wasn't updated on tracker.
Sorry, I thought you said he didn't have the medallion to open it. I misunderstood there.
Sorry, accents happen.
Yuda, you've got silver arrows!
I mean, doing spins is faster than silvers if you execute it proper. Like, didn't waste that much time.
Yeah, that's fair. But there's the Hype Cave check for Darkrid.
So he used 2 arrows in the fight, he gets a refund for a single one. And we have Samaria inside the Darkrid, so we're just looking for that small key to Swan Palace now. Probably going to see maybe a Mizumire play for Darkrid. Darkrid needs the big key to Mire. So depending on how long he spends before he goes back there,
yeah,
he might actually clear a lot before he commits to Mizumire.
That's a good point, because he might not think, oh, the key to check Mire just to see if it's in there.
And so far, we found the myths upstairs GT on the side of the Darkrid, but they've given us absolutely nothing. And we know where the Fire Rod is for Eudaimonistic, he doesn't need it. All that we're looking for is that one small key to Swan Palace. That's one item we don't know yet that we do need. Besides that, it's open season where it can be. Dungeon-wise, it's not in pod. Could be hair basement.
I think Darkrid is just... Okay, this is a smart move by Darkrid. He's going to kill Trinex, and that'll put him up at the Turtle Rock entrance, which we don't know where it is, actually.
He never did Crystal Roller Room, right?
He just did Crystal Roller Room.
Okay. I wasn't paying attention.
Oh, this is big. Use that
Is
hook shot.
the one-
Yuda, use the hook shot. He
No.
doesn't know he can use the hook shot.
I told him the other day. Oh well.
Well, the cape is still sitting out there in an easy spot if he goes to check Magic Bat.
True. Maybe where he's headed. He used to remember Hookshot Cave.
Yeah, unfortunately, these runners have also do this whole scene without boots, which always feels bad.
Yeah.
He's going back in the Dark World.
Yeah, that's... Where is Hookshot Cave?
I can't remember. I have to go look back in the VOD at this point.
I'm gonna do it. I need to know.
Okay. That is Darkrid's 4th crystal.
Yes. So we have 4 crystals on Darkrid. And I believe we also have 4 in eudaimonistic because he killed Vidi.
Yes, he did. He can go get his 5th if he goes back to Pod, which he might be doing. Darkrid checking the front of Turtle Rock. At this point, GT will be nothing. We do know that much because you need all 7 crystals to open it. And there's nothing that's possibly in there they'll need.
Yeah. The entrance itself. It's always possible that the swamp small key is going to be on the right side of GT, however.
Alright, some checks for Darkrid. There's the boots.
Oh,
Right side Turtle Rock. That opens up a few more entrances.
time to speed up the seed.
And Yuda is heading back to kill Helmasaur.
Alright, Magic VOD, tell me where Fire Rod is. It's Hylia Island.
Okay, that's what I thought it was. I couldn't remember. So, okay, so it's really close for him too. Like the Samaria has been close for Darkrid.
Yeah.
But Darkrid did finish check. He's heading to Chain Chomp Room. He never got this because he took a death here.
That is true, yeah. Going to try to find the other entrance to Hookshot Cave as well. Yeah, like it's one of the things with when playing cross keys, you need to keep in mind so many things because you find things in order that you can't necessarily finish. It's not like in a normal seed where like, okay, I enter Eastern Palace and if I have the bow, I do everything. Here you find an entrance to TR, you can do 2 checks, you leave. You need to remember to come back later for other things. Always. So like, even if you find like Spike Cave somewhere, it's in the world, you don't have the hammer yet, you don't have the glove yet, you need to keep it in mind and find a moment to actually route it back in the game and go back there eventually. And it can be very difficult depending on its location, what else is around, and where the item description was. And if you just forgot, then that can just be your race right there.
Alright, so Darkrid's going to check our bonk spots. Not sure why Yuda's using the hammer strats. He's got tempered.
Yeah, it's a swag strat of showing off the hammer extension. Besides that, not much reason. So we have crystal number 5 for him.
Yep, his other crystal dungeons are locked by the items he still needs.
Mm-hmm.
If Yuda remembers Hookshot Cave, he'll be one item from Go mode. If he remembers Magic Bat, it might send him back to the Bumper Cave.
Yes, which will lead him to the floating island, where he will get a small key, which is very likely at this point to be the small key we're looking for.
Alright, starting. This is a good start point. Come on, Yuda. Go to Lake Hylia.
Come on, Uda, you need arrow in build upgrades, right? And you think it's there, right?
He's going.
So you're going to go to... No, that's a curse bomb. Oh. So... Oh.
He definitely doesn't remember it at this point.
Yeah.
Something's got to jog his memory.
Fortunately, not much can.
Darkrid is going for his 5th crystal. On his way through Eastern, we've already seen both items in here.
Mm-hmm.
We know where Cape is. Cape is at Magic Bat, which is at, I believe it's Vanilla Drop.
I'm still trying to find where the other entrance of Hookshot Cave was. So, I thought I wouldn't have to mark it, because both runners would go there as soon as possible, right? How wrong was I?
Okay, Yuda's gonna check the couple chests in Turtle Rock he hasn't checked. There's the mushroom for Potion Shop, which we still have not found.
Maybe it's in GT.
GT might be his next stop. He's right by it. Yuda, what are you doing? You might be a bit confused. You could get to Crystal Roller Room.
Yeah. Okay, the other entrance of Hookshot Cave is... Oh, there is definitely a god rat for you. It's the cave at the top of Dark DM.
Oh yeah,
it's Hookshot Cave.
That's right.
So he needs to go to that exit or to Hylia Island. And getting the fire rod will put him... Well, getting the small key on the floating island will put him right at the perfect spot to go claim the fire rod afterwards, if he remembers it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that would be a really good route. As Darker grabs his 5th crystal, we're still looking for that Swamp Small. Darkrid, if he goes back to Meyer, will get his GT big, and Darkrid's gonna check right side GT. 5 items. It easily could also be over here.
For him, it's not a very stressful thing to check, since he knows he's not going upstairs. It's just these 5 checks at the end.
So,
opting to do tile room after, which is perfectly fine.
So, Yuda, his boots are right on the right side, but no fire rod, can't get them.
That's unfortunate. But boots might not be necessary at all.
That is true. Alright, 4 checks coming up on Darkrid's side. 4 small keys still out there in the world. One of them.
Shield. Oh.
There's the Swamp Small.
Ooh. Well then. So the only thing that darkrid means, because he's not go mode, he is not go mode and he is not no mode. The only thing that darkrid needs is the big key of Mizumar, which is in Mizumar.
Yuda,
So,
go just right behind you. Sorry,
go
just right
enter
behind
it,
you.
Enter it. This is the spot. No, no. Yeah, it's over. Yeah, it's over. Yeah, so darkrid needs to go enter Mizumar to find this big key in the dungeon, and once he actually does that, he is going to be Gomad.
He's pulling out the cane. This makes you think he's going to GT, which is fine. He can get the swamp small if he does.
Yeah. But the thing is that he might continue to do upstairs, which is definitely not what he wants to do right now.
The darkrid is running straight to swamp. Now
And
this will still
eudaimonistic is running.
this will still give Yuda some time because we know darkrid will find nothing in here.
Yeah, that is true. Might even do right side. But the thing is that like Yuda, he might get that and then proceed to do the exact same play. And also for Clear Swamp, looking for Fire Rod.
That is a good point.
Also, eudaimonistic need to do a weird bomb jump because there's a Fire Rod here.
Oh yeah, this isn't even in logic for him.
He doesn't have boots. Can he perform it well?
He might just do
Is he
Tire
just-
Room and...
Ooh.
Yeah. Right now, Darkrid's got a pretty big lead.
Yeah.
The only thing that'll save Yuda at this point is if Darkrid does not think to go into Mire and just puts it off.
Yeah, that's basically what I was about to say. Like, as soon as Darkrid decides to go to Mire, it's over. Darkrid wins. Period. Udai had now 2 hours to remember that Hookshot Cave is a place that exists.
Yeah, he's not even gonna do the right side. It looks like,
He knows it's not the logic.
but he's gonna.
No, he's going for
do
it.
it. If
Okay,
he get if
To
he
do
get-
that, you need to enter from the top entrance. And killing the enemies there is kind of pointless because you need to reset at the right place. And you move super tile, so I think they respawn. Yeah, without boots, you don't have time to do this. Also, his health is a huge issue.
Oh yeah, he's dead.
Right, yeah. Basically, you see the door at the top. After you do the bomb jump that he just did, and you light that torch, you need to follow the hole. You basically only have time to do the room with boots, without boots, if falling that hole spawns you at the top exit of the room.
Right, another. Every time we see a saving quit, I want him to go to Lake Hylia.
Yep.
If he gets Fire Rod first, he's in great shape. But it looks like he's going back to the Dark Worlds.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate.
Meanwhile, Darkrid trying to do a diver down. He's flooded the key at this point, so he's got to get this, or he's gonna have to. He's gonna have to leave and come back in.
I think he placed the block too near the stairs. I usually put it like much farther. Oh, that should be good. Yeah, there we go. All I have to do is hop out and hop back in. Or do that, that works as well.
Alright, I see what Yuda's doing now. He's going to the top of Pyramid. He's going to check these 3 entrances he hasn't checked yet.
Which unfortunately is not the play for him.
Nothing on the left side for darkrid, of course.
As expected, when like, what can we even find there? It's like flute. We know where Bombos is, you can find that. We know what all the shields are, we know where both boomerangs are. Darkhead has the boots, by the way, even though it's not on the tracker. Like, not much that can be in the Swamp Palace. Dark has to go to Mara next, right?
I would think so, unless he psychs himself out, basically.
Like, even if he can complete its 6 items, it's its best play remaining in the game, I think.
And Yuda's now checking entrances he's already checked.
Yeah. But as far as entrances he already checked, he needs to go back to the one that he didn't complete, Hookshot Cave, to get this Farad.
Yeah, I don't know what his note-taking is like here, so yeah.
I believe he's using the tracker that I sent him. So, I know what it looks like, but he probably forgot about the specific connector that happens to be Hookshot Cave.
Starting here again. Every time he starts here, we get a little hopeful.
Well, the problem with Hyundai is that he had Hookshot Cave. He had that Farad and Hookshot Cave available for the past 2 hours.
Yeah, Darkrid looks like he's given up on trying the diver down there. He's going to go and do this normal way.
I think his problem, well, I think it's just an input thing. The issue he has with the diver down should be pretty easy to fix. Oh, changed my mind again, as Uda was headed in the correct direction, unfortunately.
The thing with diver down there is, if you can get it quick, it's faster, but if you start taking several attempts to get it, you're losing time.
What I do is I frame buffer it.
There
the
is
last sword is there.
There's the last sword.
The way I'm comfortable doing it is that I hit the water and then I instantly do a menu buffer and then move 1 pixel diagonally. Then I do another menu buffer and then I move 1 pixel to right, and then that's enough. Then it works every single time. Same thing with bomb setup.
Is he going back? He's going back into GT. He's going to try this. He's either going to try the climb again. Actually, the climb again wouldn't be the worst thing for him.
How?
It might send him back up to Dark Death Mountain.
But if he has Haya Highland mark as nothing, then he will have the other entrance mark as nothing as well.
Potentially. Unless he gets up there, he opens Turtle Rock thinking that's his entrance, and then remembers it.
As with Dive Down, sword slashes don't necessarily work easier, it's just a different way of buffering 1-frame movements. So it's whatever you are personally comfortable with.
Darkrid has Argus down, 6th crystal. It's now just down to when he dips Meyer.
Has to go there soon. He didn't. Did he do anything in it?
He's not even been inside Meyer. He found it, but I don't believe he's done anything in it.
Yeah. Or at least if we set it to Meyer, that's not the direction he would have went to. Checking a little bit more off-world entrances. Oh, Spiral Cave. Sick.
And we found the bottom for Spiral Cave pretty early, but yeah, we never found the top.
The bottom was like something. No, it's not cack, but it's something like that.
Here's another small key for Turtle Rock.
There we go, now Kiddentronics and Logic. No, it's not even.
Actually, an entrance it probably is. No, you would need all 4 small keys because the game would assume you were stupid with your keys.
Yeah, key logic is like works the same in entrance and non-entrance for the most part.
I mean,
there's some location that you can think that like, yeah, you could use one key here and there, but
an entrance could like end up on the on Laser Bridge, stuff like that.
yes.
But yeah, you still would need all 4 keys to finish the dungeon in logic.
By me, for example, like technically there's nothing that stops you from getting to the mini Helma room in GT with only the big key, right?
Technically, no, nothing would stop you. As long as you have the 1 key under the pot to use.
But the logic still wants you to have 3 GT small keys in order for those chests to be in logic. I
think to clear GT, it actually wants you to have all 4. Darkrid's going to check Tower Room.
3, I believe.
Yes, to get to the mini Helmstar room, I believe it would be 3.
Really? We're doing Tower Room before going to Mar? Interesting.
This is definitely weird because he knows he has 6 checks in Meyer. Unless he's just psyching himself out and saying, there's no way the Meyer big key's in Meyer.
Yeah, sometimes we like to think about odds, and turns out that's what they are, odds, but they're not guarantees, so... We think, oh, it's never that, because never that, but sometimes happens 3% of the time, and you just ruin your own race because of that. Yeah, eudaimonistic needs to be very careful. It's going to be able to powder anti-fairies very soon, but needs to not get laser in this room. How much damage does laser do to a blue mail again? Is it 3?
2 hearts.
Okay.
Smart move there. He's gonna check these. I think Darkrid's not sure what he wants to do. I'm hoping he didn't forget about Meyer.
Oh, does he not know where Meyer is?
When did he pick up the flute?
Oh, yes, flute. Hold on. He just did Tall Room, so Tall Room?
No, I thought Yuda was in there and didn't get flute.
No, but Darkrid was there too. Wasn't Tile?
No, it was definitely not Tile Room.
Well, I don't know. But flute doesn't do much in the seed.
It would take him straight to Meyer.
It would. That is absolutely true. But if it's not... Udai is rage slashing a lot, finding his mitts.
This is, Darkrid's gonna pick up the purple chest.
Okay, so... I guess as soon as the eudaimonistic finds Fire Rod, if he does, like, all bets are off, anything can happen. The mitts are useless, we know that. The boots are useless, we know that too. It's really funny.
He flutes to 5. No, he's fluting to 6.
Well then. What even is there remaining in the Meyer area? Just the desert back entrance checks?
I don't think Darkrid's opened up Meyer. They doesn't have Bombos. Where was Bombos?
Where was Bombos? Mhm.
Well, you're just gonna get his red mail.
Yay.
If he needs to go to Lake Hylia Island. Or
Yes.
to the Hookshot Cave entrance now. Back to Sanctuary. He's gonna... I'm not sure what he's over here to check. As Darkred's going into the cave that Yuda needs to go into.
Go there, Yuda. Yes, look. Does he think he did it?
He must.
Oh, eudaimonistic has had bombos for a very, very long time. Like, I put money on the table, they had it for 2 hours.
Is he going back into GT? No. Okay, he's got the mitts. He's gonna do mitts checks now. Save the smith, do the hammer pegs. Darkrid's gonna open Turtle Rock. We haven't seen this. We know it's nothing, but we haven't seen it.
So apparently this race is a time limit, and I didn't know that myself. I don't think the runners know.
It's because of the weekly stuff. Rules in the league say that races must be reported by basically like 11:59 Eastern on the Sunday of the week.
Can't an
11:55.
exception be done for an ongoing race? Like, that doesn't make sense to me. We shouldn't argue about league rules on a broadcast, my bad. Back to the race. So Darkrid, I guess he forgot to admire his, so he's just checking stuff. All the mistake just going to do mischeck, and it's basically what I theorized earlier. It's just he's going to hit a brick wall eventually, and it's going to force him to really how to say it, like just make a big look at what he might have overlooked, like his routing choices and things like that, his connectors, and maybe it's going to make him remember about that fire rod.
There's a potion shop.
There it is. Fortunately, it's no longer the time to see where we're really looking to have a comfort potion for safety's sake. It's so easy for Darkrid to go to Mizumar, it just has to shoot the 5. We have Chicken Hunt for Darkrid, a little bit more health. Is he going to hit 20 hearts? Well, eudaimonistic turning in back the smith. He is so close to the one entrance he needs to enter. He just needs to go to hide the island.
Darkrid's fluting. He's going to 5.
Is it happening?
He's hitting the portal.
He full cleared the game pre-Mizumar. Is he going up?
This is the
It's
play.
happening.
This is Darkrid's race to lose.
I mean, at this point, I don't understand how he could lose it. So all he has to do is just do a normal full clear. It's the chest, that's the map chest of the dungeon, that's going to give him his big key, if I remember correctly.
Just to the left of... In fact, he could go get the chest right now, honestly. He's got all the keys. It's just to the left of the big chest, yeah.
Which just kind of use routing, doing the dungeon non-key sanity when we don't start with the small keys, so we need to enter the room we're in. Oh, that's where Bombos was, right?
Yeah.
We're used to requiring that small key in order to do anything else in the dungeon, so it's really easy to forget. But when you're playing key sanity and you have a lot of keys, you can go straight to the right side from the get-go, or even open that one chest.
People asking about next week's game modes. Next week is the spoiler log key sanity. We will be... Basically, this is the start of our 2 co-op weeks, where one runner will have the spoiler log to the seed, the other will run the seed with that runner's guidance, with the pilot's guidance.
Yeah, it's going to be a pretty interesting week because everyone's going to be thrown out of their element.
Yeah, basically this week is like the longest week for seeds. Next week is going to be the shortest. Be ready for some sub-hour seeds.
Yes, absolutely. It seems that even some of the less talented teams have reported times of 1:15 tops for the game mode. So it's going to be extremely quick.
Yeah. In chat asking about study period. There's no study period. The spoiler log is given to the pilots at the start of the race. Basically, when the countdown hits 0, they get the spoiler log.
Mm-hmm.
So they have to route on the fly.
So basically, it's a good idea for the pilot and the actual spoiler reader to actually give a starting plan for the player to actually do stuff in the early game. Things that most likely they're going to have to do anyway, like doing some CAC checks while the spoiler reader actually figures out a plan of action and where they should go next.
Going back to our seed at about 3 hours, 7 minutes, and 10 seconds. Darkrits and go mode.
Finally, going somewhere.
Over on Yuda's side, he's picked up the cape.
Which, unfortunately, we thought for a long time will lead to the cherished small key we're looking for, but unfortunately, no, it's not the correct one. It's probably the small key to Hera, the other TR1.
Yeah, actually, at this point, that small key to Hera is the only key we have not seen. So Yuda he's taking that cape, he's heading straight to Bumper Cave as Darkrid is on his way to Vitreous.
Yeah, it's too little too late for Yuda. There is no way he can just regain enough time to have a shot in this race. This darkrid, he just hit that switch, he just turns to the next room, finish the rest of kill Vidrius. Then all he has to do is fly straight to Kakariko, go north in the Lost Woods, drop down and kill Ganon, and it's over.
And Vitreous is down.
Indeed, pretty short work done with the Bone Silvers. And
There's
this is our crystal number 7, and we are going to go straight to Lost Woods to finish this.
here's Yuda gonna pick up his small key. Or maybe not.
No,
Okay.
sometimes we just want to go to our little solitary floating island and just chill. It's okay.
Probably not happy about that because he thinks his next stop is Hera Basement. Or he sees a rock that's not opened.
Oh no, not like this. I would have preferred that he didn't find it like 2 minutes before losing. Not like this. Not like this. Oh, that... This pains me so much to see.
Darkrid is in the Ganon fight. And there's Yuda's Fire Rod.
There it is. And that leads to the rest of what Yuda had to do really easily, fortunately. Well, when phase 2 of the Ganon fight, don't have much else left to do.
Already to phase 3. Just 1 slash per teleport, or not per teleport, but per teleport stop. And then 4 silver arrows.
The Swamp Small Key was on right side GT, locked by Fire Rod logically.
Yeah, this race was pretty close for the longest time. We were just waiting for one runner to make their move first. And it just happened to be Darkrid.
Well, it turned into like a pretty clear-cut, hey, Yuda is this location that he has yet to go to and spend half an hour and it has 4 items in it. I wonder when he will decide to go there. And then it becomes, well, 1 hour ago Yuda should have been there. And then turned into over 2 hours, so that's just unfortunate. But with that, Darkrid is going to cross at the bridge and finish the seed in the first place with a time of 3 hours, 11 minutes, and 42 seconds on his timer.
And Yuda immediately forfeit.
I can understand after running in circles for 3 hours and having just found Fire Rod, like at some point you need to just cut your losses, tap out. It's unfortunate for the fantasy points players, but sometimes we need to give people some break.
I do hope Darkrid hit his button to advance this, because he does need to show his results screen still. We do have them both in the waiting room, so we'll bring them in.
Hello, hello, GG's.
GG's.
Oh my god, I think the worst part about this seed was that Meyer big. See, I felt that way, except not really. I may have spent about 2 hours not picking up a fire rod.
Yeah. Did you know where the front was?
I knew where the front was. I thought I had done it. I had gone through it and then forgotten the exit of it. It was
Oh,
just
yeah.
bad.
The story of the seed, as you probably heard me say at the end, was like, oh, well, eudaimonistic had access to the fourth chest in Hookshot Cave for the past 30 minutes. I wonder where he's going to go there. And then it became an hour. And then Darkrid opened the chest and turns out Firerod was there, so eudaimonistic really needed to go back there. And now it's an hour and a half, and now it's 2 hours. And yeah, unfortunately, that was kind of required to get the last remaining final item, which was the small key of Swan Palace. That turns out to be right side GT.
Yeah, I had a feeling. That was the part that really kind of bugged me the most about it was there were several sequence break opportunities to like use a lamp to just like go find those things, and I even almost pulled it off. It's just you needed boots to really do that right side sequence break, and it wasn't going to happen. So there's no way for me to luck into like the small key for Swamp Palace, and yeah, I would definitely say there was like a good hour of time I probably could have cut out if it weren't for that.
You
It
can
was
actually
pretty
do that
solid.
boot sequence break if you enter the room from the north. You need to intentionally enter the room, like the room north that's normally useless.
That makes sense.
You need to enter it, and it's a kill room, so to leave you need to kill all the enemies and then transition down, and then you need to have pretty solid execution in that room to have enough time to light all the torches and proceed.
Yeah, you'd pretty much have to have like pause buffered bomb jump to really actually make the window.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was a lot of fun. I practiced a lot of cross keys this week. It was unfortunately not enough. Sometimes you just forget the one thing. Story of Rando, right?
You wanna know what I forgot? So, you saw where our sank entrance was, right?
Yes.
Thankfully, nothing was in it, but I didn't do back of escape till like an hour 30 or something. Because
Yeah.
I didn't even realize I didn't check it.
I'd like to point that out because everyone forgets it. It's so common, especially this week.
Only reason I forgot it is because I did Houlihan right off the bat, and I was like, okay, yeah, I don't need to do back right now.
Yeah, in your mind it puts you in the state of like, well, I already fell in that hole. Everything there is cleared, right? Right? But that's not actually the case. You got lucky there was like no early game progression in there.
Yeah, when I found it, I was like, oh god, I haven't done that yet.
I've seen some races where like a hammer is there, boots are there, and you just want to cry when you just did it an hour and a half in.
Wasn't happy about that hammer either.
Yeah,
you got it first.
Well, I mean, going back to that Meyer big key, because there was a funny moment. I mean, like as awful as it was to get it where it was, and I imagine we both got it pretty late. Just the way that like quick swap kind of made me accidentally hook shot like up north facing instead of like east facing, so I like redid the room. And then to find out that it was in the next chest that I needed to open, like it was the big key. I had to do the whole loop again.
Oh yeah,
one of those situations where you can save a little bit of time if you check that first.
And then you go back, and turns out that you didn't leave the super tiles at the bridge, and the exit actually respawn, so you need to do another loop. It's great.
It's kind of fun when the game does that too.
Mm-hmm.
I had fun with the seed though. I'm a little surprised it only took 3 hours and 11 minutes, but that's random for you.
Yeah, certainly a seed that can be done relatively quickly compared to what we did. Just one of those things where you can't really know what you had to do. If this was like a study period spoiler log, this would be like half the time, if less.
Yeah, I got trolled by that red cane for a while.
Yeah, that took a hot minute.
I was like, where's my mirror at? And then I was like, I've got to make a play here. I wanted to go to Helmasaur immediately when I first went in. Chose against it for 3 checks, and there was the mirror, and I was like, I'm really glad I just did that, because otherwise I probably would have lost another 30-40 minutes on that. Because I was very limited on like hotkeys.
Yeah, and they were far flung. They were like in every single other dungeon.
Yeah, I was like, oh well, okay, so I can't go back to pod right now. I would rather not dip in without the big key or at least 2 smalls. Then I ended up with just that situation, but then no other small boat. But that mirror leading to, I believe it was what, Hype Cave on
Yes.
bridge, I believe.
Yeah, the left side of the bridge, I think.
Yeah, I think that's right. God, that was awkward to realize that I hadn't, or that I had those entrances marked, and I was like, okay, I'll go back there soon. But I was trying to be quick about it because I kept falling down Spectacle Rock because I couldn't do the bomb jump today.
Hey, so where in the world did you find Boots? On the right side of GT?
TR.
Ah,
Right
the one thing I was about to do it too because I had just finally found that fire rod.
Isn't it
was-
great how both the mitts and the boots were used as?
I mean, I abused my mitts, but they were in such a terrible location. I was like, I have to go ahead and do it. I've got the big key. Come to find out, mitts are up there. Like, ouch.
I had
Yeah,
actually
that-
made it all the way to Gauntlet 5 with Fighter Sword earlier in the seed, but just wasn't meant to be.
Oh no, that's
Yeah,
a rough one.
It just turned out that besides easier access to that cactodal pole, the mitts checks were all duds. It gave absolutely zero progression whatsoever.
I thought there was something in King's Tomb, actually.
Nope.
I know it's not like by the mirror, or it's
No,
like
because I had never gotten the boots, and the only things I was missing were... Yeah, we could have avoided that completely.
yeah, interesting.
And in fact, boots locations are the only things I wasn't able to check. Period.
Gee.
That and killing Trinex, basically.
Yeah, because I mean, I had done literally all of Turtle Rock except for Trinex.
Yeah, for you it was just a matter of grab Fire Rod and then go back to GT, do right side, get small key, and gonna finish 2 dungeons at the end. You were
Yeah.
very close to being done. It's literally just... I'm pretty sure if you didn't forget about Hookshot Cave, eudaimonistic would have finished this race a while ago.
You definitely would have beaten me if it wasn't for the fire rod.
Well,
Just
that's how
basically like
Rando
the one
is.
element. It happens.
It's definitely fun to, play with all of different, routing and everybody's different approach to the game. I mean, sometimes, you play the game a certain way, you forget one thing, and that's enough. And today it was. Looking at that collection rate, good lord.
Yeah. I'm a little surprised I managed to get 194 checks in 3 hours. Like, without boots, this... that's a lot of checks.
Boots don't do as much as people like to think. Like, good boots execution is going to shave maybe 5 minutes per cut of 1 hour of the seed, but really, like, entrance is longer because you need to check all the entrances, but once you're done with that, then it's literally just going to where checks remain in certain dungeons, so it's not that time consuming.
I will say
Yes,
there was a lot of annoying entrances in this race. Long walks. Didn't really enjoy that.
Oh, there were a lot of long walks. Yeah, but this could have also been a hover seed. That was the other thing I was worried about. Because I was like, I don't know if you know how to hover, but that could have gotten you a win. Because if I knew how to hover, I would have just skipped the end of Mire instead.
I believe you still need... Don't you need the big key at the last door of the dungeon anyway?
You might actually, I might be wrong on
I'm
that.
pretty sure you do.
I don't remember. I don't think so. Wait, do you?
It's the kind of thing that,
I know
like,
it skips a big door. Yeah, but I think the boss door is locked by it. Yeah.
it's the kind of thing that you see all the time and your brain doesn't even register. Let's see, I have a VOD there. Let's see if there's a door. Yep, there's a door. Yep, that would not have worked.
Still, though, definitely interesting all the different angles to approach. I mean, cross keys is like really the biggest, like, big brain, expand your mind about rando kind of, format. It's something that I think literally everybody in this league has felt pretty stretched by individually on a personal capacity, which I think is really great for the league. In spite of me losing this week, I do feel like this is a good thing overall for the community to get more involved in. And it kind of like speaks to the format of the league itself that, we have to try all of these different things. And that's, I really enjoy it. I've learned a lot in the last month.
I think that's what the league should be about, like promoting people to improve in the game and not just like winning. That's like the big part of having having the league, having the big expansion to 64 teams this season. So hopefully, like the level of competition in the league is just going to improve further and further in the following seasons, and we should have a lot of fun. Any last words for you two?
Yes, just very glad you feel that way and that you're not upset with me for losing it for the team, because we're probably statistically eliminated at this point.
We'll talk later.
He did. He did mention at one point that he told you something before the race and you forgot it.
I told you
In
to
regards-
hookshot backwards and hookshot and bumper ledge. Didn't
Shot
do it.
bumper ledge. Oh no.
Yeah.
Was that?
I will review game film on that.
What was even locked by that?
No, not much.
Bumper ledge didn't have anything. He was talking about bumper cave. You could shot backwards through the bumper.
Yeah, that's. I couldn't remember what it was, but yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I just found
today
it.
I
You had
learned.
hookshot, and you. Oh, I explained. I remember when I listed a ton of things for you, and so.
I misheard you then. That's my fault. That's not you. That's me.
Okay, yeah. Well, that's fine. Cross keys is difficult when you're not used to it. There's a lot of gotchas.
I'm definitely gonna play more of it now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, definitely. I find cross keys great.
But yeah, GG's Darkrid. That was fun.
Yeah, thanks. It was a really good
Alright.
run.
Yo, and thank you guys for commentating.
Oh yeah, definitely.
GG to both of you. Make sure to give our runners a follow, as they, of course, they play a lot. So definitely keep an eye on what they're doing. That does wrap us up for week 5 of the league. I was just looking through the divisions, and at this point, 5 of 24 playoff spots have been claimed. No divisions have been claimed yet, but we have 5 playoff spots locked up. A lot to decide, especially in this division, because this division is not done by any means. Just looking at the standings, Yoshi-san Skis still well within striking distance of getting into the playoffs. Slowly Salted Dungeoneers actually is still alive as well. And the interesting thing about the division is the top 4 teams will be playing each other in the last 2 weeks, and the bottom 4 teams will be playing each other in the last 2 weeks. So there's still an opportunity for some movement in this division.
We'll bring out the secret weapon. It's all good.
Trademark.
Indeed. Anyway, that will most likely be all for us tonight. There will be more matches tomorrow of the ALTTPR League. However, we are done with cross keys. Tomorrow we will play a InfoShare pilot. Basically, it's a pretty fun mode where it's a co-op mode with 2 players. One player is going to be the player, and the other player is going to be the pilot. Which, is it the pilot? Whatever. One of them is the pilot. Basically, one player receives the entire spoiler log of the Kisenli seed on go at the start of the match. And that player has to read the spoiler log and tell the player what to do to complete the game as soon as possible. And 2 teams of 2 race on that format. So that's all we're going to see next week. Is going to be very exciting, very fast-paced, very risky, low safety strats are going to be taken to try to gain advantage over other runners, which should be a really interesting week.
Yeah, we are kicking that off tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern. Hime versus Noble Foxes, Kermit and Ravis versus Nobly the Foreign and Angle HZ will be on Speed Gaming to kick off the week, and then we've got 3 other matches tomorrow as well.
I would like to thank our runners for giving us a really good show, and I would like to thank my co-commentator JP for being here with me tonight. I had a fun time.
Yeah, thanks for joining me as well. Also, thanks to Math Girl for tracking for us today. And with that, we will wrap up. We'll see you next week for week 6 as we hit the stretch run in the league and as we push for the playoffs.
Good night, everybody. We love you all.